So, tell me, what are we going to talk about today?
Today on Keepin the GEEK BROS podcast of the 100th, we've got George Lucas to step in to save Star Wars, Donald Glover to return as Lando in Disney Plus series, Disney reopens amid COVID-19's second wave, life as a father in this current social environment, how to be a collector during the pandemic, the terrible prevalence of people in power preying upon children in competitive fighting game scene, the reason EVO 2020 was cancelled, Far Cry 6, how games handle tough political and social questions, the futility of cancel culture, George Carlin, They Don't Care About You, a custom-built PC, consoles are no more, the return of Nintendo Direct, and the Council of Men. Is Chivalry Dead? Memories, surprises, Juancho, oh my. All this and more in this week's episode of Keepin the GEEK BROS, the 100th episode. A family podcast, allegedly. Stay tuned.
Geeking out in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break with all your homies sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to grab a drink? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows we're lame, and they know vibe is a pain. You wanna be where Flex talks crap, where Garbanzo's not ashamed. You wanna be where everybody knows we're lame. You wanna go where people know the Geek Bros think they're acclaimed. You wanna go where everybody knows we're lame.
One, two, three. Wow, we gotta do that. We have to do the
No, according to the one that I have, you're supposed to go first.
No, it's together at the same time. Okay, so okay, and then we follow the script. You got it, Juancho?
Says yes.
Okay, no, come on. 1, 2, 3. Yes. What's going on? Okay.
What's going on?
By all means, do it again. Do it again, Juancho.
What's going on, guys?
Yes. All right, that works for me. I'm your host, Vibe, and with me is the godfather of this podcast, the original voice of our generation, the man with the plan. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest host, the Juancho returns. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest host, the Juancho returns.
Woo!
What's happening?
A special beer for you, sir.
Speech.
Always.
Speech.
What's going on?
That's it.
Speech.
Had to be perfect. Coming back. Episodio 100.
It's Cien.
We haven't. I don't think we've used Spanish numbers in 50 episodes.
This is America.
That is true.
Jesus. Never cease to fail.
All right. Well, joining us are our fellow co-hosts Darflex, Garbanzo, Roz, featured returning guests Kylo Sam, Joe Taro, and ladies and gentlemen, introducing Man. Thank you guys for joining us on the 100th episode. It's
Woo!
I mean, my heart is swelling. This is great. And then there were 9. Okay, so that's what I want to say. All right, so before we get to today's topics, Darflex, please tell these fine people where to find us on social media.
Absolutely, you beautiful, loyal fans. You can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Geek Bros with a 0. That's GEEKBR0S. You can also send us emails and tell us how shitty this episode was because we weren't able to get everything right. But you can email us pictures of the dogs. Right. Did we? I don't know.
We got a picture of a dog once from Squeezy Bits, who's not here.
Yes. God bless her soul. So you guys can find us on Geek Bros with a 0 at Yahoo. facebook.com. Send us cool stuff, and you'll get free shit. I hope
Allegedly.
Man isn't listening because he's supposed to get free
No,
shit.
my man's gonna get his free shit. We just don't know what free shit he wants yet.
I'm sorry, was I muted?
Right. Okay. So now, if you want to check out pretty cool articles, fake news, bad sources, good sources, real news, vibes troubles as being a father, you can check us out on facebook.com/geekbros.
I'd rather you say that than what you probably were going to say. So
what were they going to say?
I don't know. Allude to me being single or miserable. Who knows?
Oh no, you're not miserable. You seem pretty happy.
Yeah,
you do seem pretty happy.
Thank you.
Now,
those are those are the saddest people, actually. But we're not gonna go there.
Robin Williams, yo.
I wasn't gonna say it, but somebody else did.
I am not Robin Williams. Okay.
wow. Now, if you
I
guys
got dark quick.
That really did get dark quick.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry. Yeah.
If you guys want to check out this incredibly full spice cabinet of, God, I don't know, whatever Goya seasoning is, you just put it all in one thing and throw that on your meat. But you can check this out on youtube.com/FireRepStudios. That's VIVEREVSUDIOS for a spicy episode.
Yes.
And the first place to WeBeGeeksPC.com. Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Yes. We're going to move on to the comments and questions from you, the audience. And I'm going to scroll down. All right. We've got Facebook.com. So that's Geek Bros. What?
We don't have to.
Have to do what?
We don't have to do that. I'm just saying. I've read the comics. I think so. We don't.
Oh yeah, of course we do. Now, which one of you fine gentlemen posted this cat thingy on our Facebook fan page?
You know I'm the only one who posts on Facebook, right?
Oh, you are the only one.
Oh,
so it's you. I didn't know that. I figured that you all do it. I don't do it. I know I don't.
Come on.
All right. Well,
I gotta start doing that.
Well.
Oh, that cat made me cry.
Yes. Do you want to explain what you posted real quick so I can explain the why Manny Main is "Geez, I'm crying now" comment? What did you do?
Sure. It's a baby kitten that was hit by a car on purpose, and then death comes, takes his whole soul, and shows something nice. A cat about to be put down at the shelter, and then some old lady comes and adopts the cat, and the cat happens to be that kitten's mother, and she lives happily ever after, and the little kitten gets to go to wherever cats go.
I didn't know
the Rainbow Bridge.
I didn't know you were a sentimental.
This is really depressing.
Really?
No,
Bro,
it
I love
depressing.
animals.
It had a good ending. It was.
Okay. I don't know. Something about run over kittens, right?
No, yeah. And the whole thing was that the same lady finds the dead kitten. That's the whole thing. That dead kitten belonged to the old lady. So when the old lady goes to the shelter, ends up saving this cat that's about to be put down, ends up being the kitten's mother. And I cried like a little.
I mean, that does sound like a cat
who someone stole their balloon. It was impactful.
It warmed my heart, I guess, allegedly. Moving on, Man, you want to explain this delightful picture you sent us on our Geek Bros messenger?
So basically, I sent a photo. Quarantine times right now. So it's how everybody Dark Flex always asks for nudes, and
allegedly asks for nudes.
Allegedly, sorry, apologize. Allegedly. And wow, he's got a smiling face. So it's since we're all in quarantine right now, she's in basically a bodysuit and a gas mask, and she's bending over and she's showing her assets.
I like her bending over. I like that.
Well, in a full-on biosuit, it was actually pretty good.
How did she share this? I don't know who. I'm not sure who Ashley Mendez is, Mercedes is, but she was able to share our post. I gotta figure out how she did that. How did she share the link? I can't share the link. No, I can share the link. Sorry, carry on, guys. Next one, IG comments. Flex, this is all you. You did our first COVID-19 at-home mobility workout session. You want to read the comments that you got? You got two of them there.
Sure. One of them is from Man. Pretty much saying that he's already out because I said don't touch your butt. But he thinks what I said was informative. Then there was a DM from Danny Goldman, or hopefully Goldman's listening. He's saying that the trick is to get Lewis to the trick is to get Lewis to do these exercises. And I asked him how. He said, get some collectible or some shit that he values and put it in a fishing rod on a treadmill and have him run.
Oh,
Yep.
I like it. No, he did say that, but what else did he say? Wasn't there more? Oh, did you do the not gold comment?
No, yeah, that was the Goldman comment. Then
Man said something too.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay.
And then, Goldman said that what I asked him what should I get, and he said some Star Wars collectible, and I said that's not gonna work. His wife's just gonna buy it for him.
That's not true. That's not true. She'll make me run for it now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's progress right there. Fantastic. All right, we're gonna move on to YouTube comments. This is from our episode Womp Womp. Squeezy Bits, who I wish was here. He said I sent my video, but he sent it on the gram. So he did send a video for the what's it called? Those two things we did, the Umbrella Academy and the Boys season 2. But I guess I didn't get it. So, but he did say he did send it. So sorry, man. Sorry, Squeezy Bits. He says, but I got something in the making for you guys. I have a hard time. So that's it. I have a hard time playing female protagonist games because I can't really relate. But is it Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn? Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn kind of changed that. Reference to Vibe is looking for a game that has a strong female lead. I don't remember asking for a game with a strong female lead. Was that me?
That was my conversation. Talking about. Talking about Ellie. Well, I forgot what I was talking about, but ended up talking about Ellie from The Last of Us 2 and Senua from the Senua saga, and just having badass. Oh, we were talking about Valhalla, the new Assassin's Creed, where you can pick a female character. That's what we were talking about.
How can you miss Joanna Dark, bro? Shoot. Joanna Dark was a classic. She had a strong lead.
Who?
True.
Joanna Dark. Perfect Dark.
Yeah, Perfect Dark was a great series.
I was too young. My mother didn't play those games back then because it was too violent.
How about there's also like Samus, Metroid,
She's
strong female lead.
yeah.
Yeah, she has some big titties.
Laura.
I didn't realize she was a female.
Especially in
Yeah, bro.
title.
At least
Hey,
the 2 did.
Where do you get your news at, bro?
Lara
get
Croft. Tomb Raider
It's
series.
like 5 people that are strong female.
So I tagged most of you guys in the live thing. If you guys could share it on your timeline, Roz, it posts up for you automatically. Lewis, it posts up for you automatically. But a few of you.
Just so you know, I'm not gonna be able to do anything on my phone unless you want me
Okay,
to
no, okay. So I'm just throwing it out there to see what's what. So good. This will work from now on. And that is it for comments and questions from you, the audience. Appreciate you guys. Fantastic. I'm scrolling really far back up because this is very long. Who did that? Is that you, Flex?
I'm sorry, you can hear that?
Yes, we're live. We're live. You forget we're live. All right. So, Garbanzo, you have a question for me.
Wait, I was scrolling down for the stuff. Going back up.
It's
Wait,
all
no.
the same question.
It's the same question every week.
It's the same question. What's going on with Geek Bros?
Thank you. There you go. That works out.
Oh, okay. That's I wasn't. It was either that or if that thing on your butt still hurts. I couldn't tell which one it was.
That's where. See, we only
That's what that was the
off air, not
still got
live.
the donut. That's what helps.
I got the donut, but it didn't work. So
little personnel.
Did you eat it?
Huh? Did I eat the donut?
You're supposed to eat the donut.
No, not the inflatable one. Anyway, moving on. What's going on with the Geek Bros? A lot of nothing. That's not true. We have, of course, 3 episodes we posted last week. I am going to be releasing, come hell or high water, the Witcher review next week, regardless, and see what happens. If it's still going to give me a copyright strike or it's going to still be blocked because of the content ID, whatever, then I'm just going to upload it without any clips and go from there. Because, I mean, it didn't give me a hard time with the teaser trailer I did, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because there was limited amount. But we'll see. So other than that, it's a 100 episode. I mean, there's no more exciting things to talk about than we are actually actively recording 100 episode after, I mean, several weeks. I mean, was it 10, 12, 13 weeks delay?
Yeah, we've been pushing.
Pushing this really, really hard. So that's what she said. So yeah, 100 episode, and I guarantee you guys that this video recap will be up Monday. That's what I can guarantee because that's how proud I am of the fact that I got all 9 of us together. So I'll throw that out there. If this is the first time listening to us to our broadcast, then please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. If you're watching us, Don't forget to subscribe, comment, or share. If you're watching us on live, like our Geek Bros fan page. Yes, this is streaming live on Facebook. I can't believe it.
Yeah, we are.
So YouTube has recently changed its algorithm favoring corporate channels. So please share, like, subscribe, because all they're doing is not recommending us. Without further ado, the 100th episode starts now. Special mentions. For those of you that are actually listening to us, you heard the Cheers parody intro that was written by me and composed and recorded and performed by Dinio Eduardo. So special thanks to Dinio Eduardo, aka Piano Dean, for composing our Cheers parody intro. It was fun. It was inspired by the Anti-Trekkers, his version for the Anti-Trekker. And because we were supposed to be doing this at 10th Level Tavern live, I thought it was appropriate to have a Cheers theme for it. So,
of course.
But by all means, he, just like us, he's an entrepreneur that produces a custom theme songs, parodies, copyright-free background music. So email him at pianodean@icloud.com. Follow him, Piano Dean, one word, Pianodean, YouTube. If you look it up, that's the only one that's there. And Twitter. Give this man some business. He did a really good job, fast turnaround time. And I'm almost ashamed that it took us 14 weeks to put it out there. So I'm going to play it again. It's going to sound crappier because it's going to come from my speakers, but I'm going to play it again for those who are listening to us live on Facebook or who are going to be watching this on YouTube. There we go.
Geeking out in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break with all your homies sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to grab a drink? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows we're lame, and they know vibe is a pain. You want to be where Flex talks crap, where Garbanzo's not ashamed. You want to be where everybody knows we're lame. The Geek Bros think they're clean. You wanna go where everybody knows we're lame.
I am incredibly proud of my writing and his composing. But yes, that was it there. And so Piano D, look him up again. That's PIANO DEAN, one word. Look him up on Twitter. Look him up on YouTube. And of course, pianodean@icloud.com if you want to hire him. Great stuff. This man has, it's just good stuff. That's all I can say.
That's awesome.
Other special mentions, Garbanzo.
Big shout out to somebody that actually probably finds out more stuff than I do in the course of a day. Is actually Mama Bean.
You know what? Why do we have Mama Bean on here? Get her on this.
Oh,
get her on
God.
This. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Bad
For the
idea.
rated G one.
Yeah.
Huh?
She likes the show, and it's one of those things where it's like it's easier for her to watch than to
engage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe if one day we do like a Supernatural mini-sode, like 30 minutes.
Yeah. She might be. She's a massive Supernatural fan.
Okay, then she can just. I mean, I've only seen commercials. Okay, but
She's
carry
so
on.
sweet.
She is. I'm Mama Bean. I'm still single. Anyway, so carry on.
No surprise.
Hey, that hurts, Starflex. And anybody who's listening, again, I'll repeat this. I've said this like 27 times on this podcast. Mama Bean looked me dead in my eye and said, "I have somebody for you," and then she disappeared. So,
bro, it was Jesus.
That makes sense. I do need Christ. I do need Christ in my life. I do.
You need some Jesus in your life.
In my life. And that's what it was.
You need more than Jesus.
I'd have gone. I'd have prayed. All right. New and old fans, Man, who's actually joining us. I want to thank you for just showing your support, dog. I mean, it's amazing. You're commenting, you're sharing, you're emailing, and it's a pleasure that. And I'm actually very happy to say that you joined us last minute. Like literally, did I message you today? I said, "Come on, join us." No, you know what it was? Man was like, he said, I'm free anytime. I said, really? What about today at 6 p.m. 100 episode? Join us. And he said, I'm there.
I'm done at work at 4. I'm there.
That's it. And that's all I asked for. Squeezy Bits, who unfortunately is not with us, also one of those interactive fans, and who said that we have influenced the games that he plays, we influenced what he's watched, and of course we even inspired him to get back on YouTube. So Sweezy Bits, it's unfortunate you're not here, but you're in somebody's heart. I know that for a fact. And of course, Juancho, if you want to grab this one.
Oh, Marvel, my Marvel Geeks. Are you sure you got that right? It's Mighty Marvel Geeks.
Mighty Marvel Geeks. Yeah.
Mighty Marvel Geeks.
I wrote. Oh, I put Might. My bad. Mighty Marvel Geeks.
I even have me read for something like that. Mighty Marvel Geeks. Shout out to Mike.
Sorry.
This podcast wouldn't have started without his since at the beginning, and even though Dark Flex and Vibe they were there presently, but they weren't there mentally.
We were there physically, yes. We were there.
We were there mentally.
You were not there mentally. You forgot?
No.
If I didn't have a recording of you guys interviewing them, I would never believe they did that.
I still remember the sweats coming down Vibe's face as he's recording.
I don't know, Mike. Hold on, Mike. I don't know if you remember, but when you were passing out those free comics, and Vibe was over there just tripping balls, and Vibe already had one comic that you gave him, and then he said, "Oh, I have one left. Who wants it?" You're like, "Give me!" And he just snatched it out of Mike's hand. I mean,
listen. In my defense, the reason why I was sweating balls is because I wanted to leave, and Juancho insisted. He insisted that we interview these guys, and I said, no.
He had so much. It was like it felt good to be there.
Why? Okay, Juancho, since I got you here, why is it that you insist? Why did you want to interview them? It's the end of the day. We're done recording. I'm tired, and now
the Force works in mysterious ways.
Not sober.
Remember, it was the first Star Wars celebration, and we were interviewing everybody, and I saw them, and I think it was Marvel comic book panel,
right?
And I went up to them, and I'm like, "Hey, can we interview you? You guys wearing podcast shirts." So I went up to them, and then went from there. They told me when they were going to do their show, and I told them, "All right, I'll be there." But
really,
I kind of actually
I don't remember any of this
because of you guys dragging me to that weird scientific panel with the
that was the worst. That was the worst, bro. We were tripping so much balls, like, bro. And like, I was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here now. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
And we ran.
Honestly, the way
I'm like, let's go. We're just going over here. And you guys are like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, we're doing it. That's it.
That was a terrible idea.
The thing I remember was the reason why I went to the Mighty Marvel Geeks is because we were tripping.
That's what
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I was trying to make sure you guys stayed with me.
I was ready to go home.
At one point, you disappeared, and then where the hell did they go? They just knocked out of there like ninjas.
And mind you, my camera survived that day, but couldn't survive comment.
You wanted to punch it.
I did want to punch it. That's not the point.
That's not even it. Do you remember when the artist formerly known as Jilly Goods, right? Is that it?
Yes, Jilly Goods.
Well, my girlfriend, she made us those special brownies.
Those were terrible. Those were terrible. Those were terrible.
They were a little dry.
No. Not terrible necessarily in the taste, but what it did to me, I had to go right to sleep.
Yeah, I just want to say that.
I wouldn't know because I didn't partake. So I mean,
that's not true.
What you guys told me. That's what you guys told me.
Well, here's what I attribute to success. I think that if Vibe and I and a little bit of Garbanzo did not start tripping balls at 5 a.m. in the morning, this would have never happened. Yeah, you remember we were in line to get in. And
I know we were eating candy out of the artist formerly known as oh God, what was her old name?
Pink
Jess eating candy out of her hand. So that was funny. I have that recorded.
Yeah, but like we were in line. We're like, man, fuck it.
Yeah,
let's just do it because we're here for a long time. 5 in the morning. Jesus.
Well, with that, we're gonna actually move on now to we're reminiscing. Sorry, so I did say memories. Now we do have a super cut of a look back at episode 1. However, I do want to get this one thing in before Joe Taro actually has to dip out. So we're gonna just jump real quick to a special segment. This is kind of inspired by a conversation. Well, it's twofold. It's inspired by a post that I put up regarding women and men on a different podcast, and then I got a response from Kylo Sam, and me and him kind of got in. Kylo Sam went a little. He went a little deep.
Oh yeah, man.
So he got really deep, and so I asked him how he really felt. I said, you know what? I have 9 men, including myself, ready. There's no better time to do a council of men. What? I have 4 screens. Oh no!
He said you had 9 men.
Sorry, because I'm looking at myself.
That's because
I have 8 men.
It's the comments. The comments I have to keep myself.
I have
because he's not
8 men, including me. Okay, and
oh my God.
and with that being said, this is the first. I'm gonna take this clip and put it somewhere else as well. The first council of men. Is chivalry dead? That's the question I want to discuss. So we're gonna go round robin. I'm gonna just point it to every one of you guys. Juancho, what does chivalry mean to you, and is it dead? Because you're the co-host.
Let's see. Is chivalry dead in 2020, or let's just say going forward? Yeah, kind of is. Nowadays, everybody's just doing their own things and complain about everything, and not really like chivalry is not even there anymore. You don't see it there anymore. It's gone. You think
women even appreciate it anymore?
Yes.
Maybe some of them may, some of them may not. Depends on which spectrum of the where you're at. Either you're too left, you're too right, or you're in the middle. All depends. If you're too left, you're all about you. You don't want any men depending on any men. If you're too right, you want to expect the man to be catering to you. If you're down the middle, then you're very open to both actually accepting a little bit of chivalry and a little bit of not. That's where it is. That's where it comes down to. Are you too left? You're too right. And unfortunately, that's the scheme of 2020 and going forward.
Joe Taro, is chivalry dying, and do women even respect it anymore, or even appreciate it?
Yeah, yes and no.
Okay.
I think it's both. It's both.
Okay.
I think actually more so no, it's not respected.
Okay.
Because like
dead?
You can be I mean.
He's like, yeah. What do you mean? Are you crazy?
You can be opening doors left and right. You can be bringing flowers on the first date. You can be saying how good you look, literally from the moment you speak to that girl to the, I guess, time when you guys flatline. It's still won't be enough to a lot of women. So it's just it's never enough. That's the problem.
You struck a chord with Kylo Sam. Calm that down now.
Here's the thing, though, and it has to be a lot to do with a lot of these fake knights who are things. Fake knights who are out there doing it for the wrong reasons.
Sounds like some pickup artist shit to me.
Yeah, it's you open the fan honest truth. If you guys, I'm throwing my hat on this conversation real quick.
Okay,
it goes. It's real simple. You do it because it's the right thing to do, not because you're trying to get under someone's skirt. Simple.
Well, we're talking about.
Bro.
You're right. You're right.
Go speak it. It was a code.
So the problem is that there's too many fuckboys out there who think that that's the way to get into someone's pants, and then
I don't think any
quote
fuckboys
bro,
pretending to be chivalrous. I
yes,
don't.
yes, because
that's
too much work.
F-boys just want to pretend to be F-boys just because they want to be hip and they want to be cool. At the end of
and we're skinny jeans.
And now that Darth Flex said something. Darth Flex, is chivalry dead, and do women still appreciate it? The genuine chivalry. Carry on.
All right. I'm going to need you to not fucking interrupt me when I say this, but I think it's not dead. The way I was raised by a single mother, I always address them as ma'am. I'm courteous. I always greet them properly. I always hold doors. I'll get up, for women to sit down. I don't think it's dead for what I would say is quality women.
Yeah.
If people think it's dead, it's because you're probably hanging around a lot of ain't shit bitches. Like, that's right. Okay, that's the wrong word. You're hanging around a lot
morally
of
wrong, morally questionable ladies.
He said morally questionable ladies.
Like, I've been almost all over the world, and I've had women
Allegedly.
appreciate chivalry. Different parts of the world. So I don't think it's a cultural thing, really. Mm-hmm. I think it's just, poor quality women that, don't see it because whatever. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I'm a man. I'm here to help you out. They're independent, but just the way I was raised, I'm always going to be chivalrous. And I don't think it's dead. I don't think women killed it. It's still alive. It's still alive to the women that it matters to, if that makes any sense.
I like that.
So maybe just surround yourself.
To who, though? Who are they still alive to? Because generations growing up right now are not being taught that. That was your mom, but she taught you to you. who are we gonna teach that to? That's gone. What, are we gonna be the ones to teach all these kids to be chivalrous? You know how many kids we have? How many uptight kids there is? Like, oh no, don't tell me what to do. I'm free. I do whatever I want. They're not.
I'm gonna have to shut the door for this.
Shut the door, man. Is Chivalry dead?
I have to. Okay, so am I the only one with daughters here? I don't know anybody's backstory.
I have two. I have two boys.
I have a daughter. I have a daughter right here. Look at this
I
beautiful
got
little
I
baby.
got
one
a
boy
son on the way. He's
Give me a second to shut the door, and then you're gonna hear what this is about. Hold on one second.
That Puerto Rican fire, right? Puerto Rican. Am I correct?
Okay. Yes. All right. So when it comes to chivalry, it all depends on how the girl was raised. Because I have two daughters of my own, and the problem is, we as men, our era, we grew up with Boys to Men. You know, all the old school horror movies.
Next.
All in there, everything like
next.
that. They're nowadays they grew up with Beyonce, like independent women, all the single ladies. You know, what can you do for me? You know, all that nonsense is what gets in the way of what's going on now. Again, I have two daughters. I don't want them growing up like that. Like, I don't want them to be like, okay, hey, before you talk, what can you do for me? Okay, I hold doors open for you. Not enough. I paid your dinner. Not enough.
Yeah, it's never enough.
I don't think that has anything to do with chivalry, though. But
well, no, it's just chivalry nowadays. It's hard to decipher because a lot of men out there are trying to be chivalrous, and it's not being noticed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you try and hold the door open, you get that one rude girl. It's like, okay, thanks for getting out of my way. It's like, okay, I apologize. I just held the door open for you. Sorry.
who gives a shit? You held the door open. If she doesn't want to say thank you, move the fuck on. Nobody owes you anything.
That's why you don't pay attention to them. But as a man that grew up in that era, I do it just for the sake of doing it. I don't do it because it's not appreciated.
I mean, you're
again,
basically saying
doing it for the right thing.
Doing it for you.
But you see, I'm just jumping in, guys, a little bit here.
Kylo Sam, Chivalry Dead.
Yes, I'm coming from way back in the universe to bring this issue here. Chivalry is not dead. It is actually, I went to the room and it's actually on the 7th floor at Memorial in life support. In ICU.
ICU.
Oh, yes.
Chivalry
is in intensive care.
It's being quarantined from Corona right now. I
get you. Every so often, Chivalry will get up and you'll go okay and you'll go back. Okay? The reason why I'm saying this, all of the issues and the reasons that we mentioned, guys, are valid. Education is one. Environment, but also let's be clear. And I got some of the same thing, man. At times, I'm getting to a certain age now. Young lady in her 20s pass by. I keep the door open for her. She looks at me as if it's an invitation. No, girl, you ain't all that. I'm opening the door not because you are a lady. I'm opening it because I'm a gentleman.
Way too many women like that.
Thank you.
Way too many women like that.
And it's almost like even when you say hello, it's no, I'm not hollering at you necessarily. I was taught to do that. So then what happens? Then, I have to protect myself also in a certain way, especially at the job, for instance. I'm a supervisor, or you hold a certain amount of things. Mm-hmm. So you hold to keep a certain distance so that people don't get you misconstrued. So that's what I'm saying in that sense. You do it for yourself, but the very way that certain people are wired to receive it, because what allows me to be chivalrous is when a lady gives me room to be chivalrous. I can take the initiative, but it can be encouraged. For instance, and I know it's a cliche, a lady would pass by and drop her handkerchief. I know it's cliche, guys, but that gives you a room. It's an open room now for your chivalry to pass by. Ma'am, you dropped this. So it opens an opportunity.
Steal that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then you pass by.
It's like don't return the phone. Oh, I got a new phone.
That's like, So,
Sam, when was the last time? Sam, when was the last time you took your jacket off and put it on a puddle for a lady to walk over?
Oh, please, man.
That is so dumb.
And I sent
that
them
is
the
the
bill.
stupidest thing.
2011 for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why I carry a plastic bag in my backpack.
My videos actually all rotated differently. Who haven't I mean, I know Roz. Is Chivalry Dead?
Right.
And women still appreciate it.
Look, I always found it really interesting that a lot of people tend to associate chivalry with common fucking human kindness. Like you're describing shit as some kind of chivalry. Like somebody drops something, you pick it up. Oh, hello, madam. I believe you dropped this. No, just be a fucking dude. Pick it up and be like, hey, dude, you dropped this. Move the fuck on. Chivalry became what it is today because so many men used it like a fucking point system. I'm kind to you. You must now be kind to me. None of us is owed anything.
No,
Very
that's
true.
right. That's
You
true.
don't, you
That's
don't
very
believe in,
true.
you don't believe in
That's
reciprocation?
very true.
So you don't believe in reciprocation?
Reciprocation?
Not at all.
Why should anybody owe us anything? Why should we owe anybody anything?
Oh, I didn't
If
say
somebody's
owing.
nice to you, hold up.
Reciprocation.
That's,
Okay,
reciprocation
carry on.
is something owed. So if you're nice to somebody and they say, hey, thanks, awesome, that feels great. If you're nice to somebody and they move on, whatever. Why does it have to be a situation where us, you know, these dudes sitting here in this room, these 8 guys, go, hey man, is chivalry dead? No, who the fuck cares? You know, let people be people. If you're gonna open the door for a lady, open the door for a guy too. We keep associating these acts of kindness to gender and sex, and that's where we're fucking up. And that's how people get outraged and go, oh gosh, I wasn't, you know, acknowledged the way I want to be. No, you weren't acknowledged because nobody should acknowledge you. You did something nice, cool, move on. That's it. That's what I have to say.
I 100% agree with everything that you said, Raj. I don't put anything towards gender whatsoever because, again, I have children of both races. I am friends with both races. Everybody is. I was raised by my mother to be nice to everybody, to be kind to everybody. Mm-hmm. But the concept of chivalry when it comes to men and women is what
especially when you're referring to romance. We're throwing in, and I'm going to throw in the romance now here.
Yeah, we're not. It's being overutilized just to try to get that lay more than anything else in the world.
That's the problem.
And that's the problem. That's why no one does it anymore.
If we want to live in an egalitarian society, if we want to be equals to each other, the onus is on us to treat, you know, the other gender,
everybody equal.
You know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should just morally be a good person. Yeah,
exactly. Same thing that you expect from a man, you should expect from a woman, and vice versa.
But that's not that's not our reality, though. Women expect something different from men than regardless. If we're going out if we're going out on a date,
sure.
Okay, the man in no way, shape, or form will expect the woman to pay. The woman will expect the man to pay. The woman will expect the man to put forth the effort. The woman will expect the man to put his best foot forward and to impress her. But it's not the other way around.
Maybe because this room is full of some old motherfuckers. Myself what you're talking about now, what you're talking about now is some Gen X, maybe early millennial ass shit.
I'm talking about dating in the modern era. I'm talking about dating now.
If you date somebody, unless you're dating like some, you know, some ratchet ass people, and again, it goes both ways. You know. Everybody, again, it's becoming more of an egalitarian society. You're bound to meet more women that say, hey, I'll pay for my half, because they've been brought up that, hey, if a guy pays for your half of a meal, he's going to expect something from you.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So,
when the perfect example, like, my wife is a few years younger.
Take off that of your face. I hear Kylo Ren. Come on.
Sorry. I was playing with masks because I just found this in my bag. I forgot I had it. So the whole thing is, it's actually when me and my wife went on our first date. Mm-hmm. Well, also I didn't know she didn't think it was a date, but that doesn't mean anything. But even like on all our dates, even after we started dating and everything like that, because we've been friends for so long, it was always like, hey, I can, you know, I'll cover this, or hey, let me buy, you know, let me buy dinner. Like she one of our first dates.
You guys were friends first, though, Garbanzo. That, you know,
I mirror his experience.
That's it. What?
I mirror his experience.
When you met your other half?
Yeah.
I mean, you met her and you guys immediately went into courting, or you had a pre-established relationship with her first?
I met her.
Jillian bought me an Xbox.
Yeah, I met her and.
No, I'm so serious.
She bought you an Xbox when you guys were first dating?
Yeah, like immediately after we first started dating.
No, like how, after how many dates? And who?
Like, but that's the whole thing, though. It's
no,
it's not
what I'm
so
saying,
much because the whole thing is I don't get
me
wrong.
It was like a few months.
Like there is a lot of
like 2
my
days.
sister. My sister. Okay, when I was growing up when we were growing up, I always told her, like, you can always take care of yourself. You don't need to have. If somebody wants to do it, that's fine. But you also like when she still goes out.
Yeah.
With, there's some people that she's gone out with, and she's told me straight up, like, oh no, I just went to dinner and I bought dinner, and I'm like, oh, but it was a date. It was like, yeah, but it was my turn.
Cool.
In my
And there's a lot of other people like that out there.
No, I'm not saying there aren't any,
Yeah.
but that's not the
Actually-
norm, and you
actually,
know that's
Vibe-
not the norm.
Actually,
Yes.
Vibe, the first date I've been on,
Yeah.
me and my girl, we actually split the bill only because
Uh-huh.
I didn't even bring it up, or I was willing to pay, obviously, but like
Work-life balance.
she was willing to split it, and I didn't even like I would say, you know, I of course I said, you know, no, I'll do it, it's fine, but she insisted. She said it's cool, and she gave a speech about how, hey, you know, it really shouldn't matter at the end of the day. If I want to do it, I'll do it. If you want to do it, you do it.
Yeah.
And it's this appreciation for you know, I'm not gonna go look at her and be like, oh well, what the fuck, man? I'm supposed to be paying for that. Get out of here. I don't want.
No,
like
that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there is an expectation of men when they take out a woman that they should pay.
Well, you know, I mean,
for a lot of women, yes.
If I'm asking you out, if I'm the one, and that's the way I was raised, maybe it's old-fashioned.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
There you
if
go.
I'm the one asking, okay, my dad always told me, you asking, you better make sure you can take care of that. Now, if in the process, and not to look so creepy, because I have plenty of sisters and cousins, you know, I mean, I grew up around breasts. I mean, these girls had no problem unfastening their bras and scratching in front of me. To the point that it's like, come on, guys. You know, so there's a respect for women, and, you know, the ladies in my family, even when they went on the date, they always had a certain amount of money because they were taught also to read the room. If, you know, of course, if you let a gentleman pay for you, there might be some expectations. So if you don't want that expectation, you can just, oh, I got this. So that, you know, you mitigate the expectation for them not to think that all of a sudden now you're sending the vibe of being interested when you're not. So that's the only thing I would say. I have no problem with either one paying, but if I'm the one initiating, until this day with my wife too, I mean, married over 20 years. If I'm
Congratulations.
The one paying, oh, thank you. If I'm the one, because I'm married to my best friend, I mean, we are good friends. If I'm the one saying, hey, honey, let's go, it's kind of our thing, but I got her at that night. And sometimes she'll go like, hey, let me take you out. And it's kind of our thing that at the end, you know, when I'm, you know, she's like, no, I told you it's on me. So that's the one thing I would say on that. Flexibility there. So I appreciate that
flexibility.
Appreciation is goes a long way for both ends. Goes a long way.
On both ends.
Be kind, pass it on.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time for chivalry to die and just being nice. Come back.
Yes. It comes down. It's just being a nice being. I mean, nowadays everybody's so uptight, and we tend to forget the meaning of being human and being kind to each other. Because at the end of the day, we all have the same skin, same organs, and everything. It doesn't matter.
Be kind, rewind.
Each other, even if you are considered a different gender, binary, non-binary, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just being nice.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, there's too many people who take one side too strong, and then the other. It's just too much going back and forth, and there's no neutrality. And when you don't have neutrality, you don't have niceness. Because you're too against somebody, and there's no acceptance. And if you don't have acceptance, then you can't really show up. When I hold the door, when I pick something up for both male, whatever it is, I don't care less what they say to me. Oh, thank you. Oh, I don't care. I did it because it's something that is fulfilling for me to do. And unfortunately, that part right there of fulfillment is not there a lot. And it's not coming from our generation. It's coming for future generations who are coming because that part of fulfillment is not there anymore. Seeing, I work with some kids at the part-time, and seeing them, and I try to pass as much knowledge I can to them, so they see things more easier and take things more lightly. But some of them, you tell them something, it's like, whoa, hold on, that's not what I meant. Calm it's not what I meant. And unfortunately, what they're surrounded around, and it sucks, and it really does suck.
Yeah, the fact that you have to like over-express and over-explain everything that you do is such a problem nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, opening the door, it's like, well, why did you open the door for me? Why did you hold it? What do you want out of this? What are you expecting?
Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Imagine growing up your entire life constantly being catcalled, constantly being called out because
Oh, of
somebody
course.
opened the door for you and maybe you didn't notice it, and then they start calling you horrible names. You know, at a certain point, you start kind of getting sick of the idea of chivalry. You know, chivalry is a really selfish thing anyway. You know, guys that do it want that positive, feedback. That's a selfish thing. They're not doing it, for the benefit of the other party. They're doing it so they'll feel better.
I'm so happy I work with female fighters. You don't have to deal with this bullshit.
Humanity itself are selfish. Every individual is selfish. Every individual.
Everybody has a selfish trait. Everybody has a selfish trait.
Absolutely.
Like Juan giving me coffee so you can try to fuck me.
Selfish.
Every day, you know.
Almost worked.
Oh, I got you
I
tomorrow.
never got coffee, JJ.
Pretty-
Now I
Bro,
have the jealous trait because I didn't get coffee.
He doesn't really like white guys with dyed leprechaun hair.
It's dyed?
Well, I mean, it grew back, but that weird Slim Shady phase you went through. I don't know, man.
I don't know what you're talking
Bob,
about.
you're muted.
Hey, even though I've gone through seminar, I work in the social work field. At the end of the day, we just all have to accept each other and just be nice to each other. It's 1 second of just being nice to each other. That's all it takes. Doesn't matter if the person calls you the F word or calls you something because you didn't you went over the board, you went above and beyond your call of duty to assist somebody. Doesn't matter what they tell you. At least in yourself, you do it because you felt good about it. And at the end of the day, whatever the outcome is for the other person, who cares? Move on, do your thing, and then get going. Go help the next person out in life. I mean, the good book says others.
I just posted a video on Facebook and Instagram that basically said the same thing after my whole rant went through. At the end of the day, just treat everybody as a human because that's what we all are. We're all human. We all expect the same thing out of life, to live our lives happily, to provide for our children, and just be comfortable and be nice to everybody. And that's not what's happening right now. It's bad.
Respect.
Huh.
Or ESPECT.
Why? That's what you get.
Now, in retrospect, I feel like an asshole for only shooting male combatants and not female combatants.
You should shoot them too.
Damn.
Be chivalrous.
No, as a joke, obviously. /S. Thank you, Ross. No, but yeah. And here's one thing I do want to point out. That I wish the whole world was like this, but we're in a country where we have the dignity to have this conversation, man. I've been to like Djibouti, Africa. I've been to like Al-Assad, bro.
Djibouti.
Yeah, actually, Djibouti is beautiful. If you like Africa, it's one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to. But yeah, man, it's treat everybody like humans because not everybody in this world has that dignity, regardless of what you are or where you stand in society. So fucking be good, pass it on because you have it really good, and it could be much worse.
In this country, unfortunately, they think this is just the world, but there's more world.
Oh, dude,
traveling is an awesome thing. Yeah.
The problem is, especially today, everybody's individualism and their own personal beliefs on what their actual personal rights are. That's what's getting in the way of everything. That just like if it doesn't affect me, I'm not worried about it and I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. We all need to get together, unify, and just be loving. I mean, the hippies, as crazy as that was back in the day, they had it right.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of weed too. That was great.
Legalize the crap out of it
he
right
already
now.
said,
And let's do it.
They got it right.
Perfect.
They had it right the first time.
Let's all come listen to some Cher and Sunny. We got going on there.
The mamas and the papas.
Oh man, little Jefferson Airplane, bro, all day.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, all right.
If you're not muted, your mute button doesn't show up.
What rabbit?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, because Roz had me. All right, well, that concludes the Council of Men is Chivalry Dead. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for indulging me in that. I'm actually going to be snipping this out and putting it in a different podcast that is hosted by myself and by Joe. So, Joe, if you want to do some final thoughts before we do this.
This was a perfect topic to speak about right now. Wait, is my internet stable? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I said this was a perfect topic to speak about. I mean, everybody was pretty much spot on. It made perfect sense, and I couldn't agree more. For the first time in a long time, I was actually very speechless.
Yeah, that's good. Good. I like that. Maybe more of these, and I don't have to hear your voice so much. So,
Fucking
all right. Now we're gonna move back up to memories. Now, I was supposed to do a super cut of the first episode, and I completely forgot. So I did a really quick one, like literally 10 minutes before we started. Don't judge it, but I like to look back on episode 1 before Juancho explains the finer dynamics that brought this podcast to where it is. So I'm
You know that first episode cost me 3 years of expensive car insurance, but you go ahead.
Well,
I'm having a good time.
I brought that. Hold on.
Having a really good time.
Can we see?
I actually remember that. Oh my god!
Can you guys hear the audio if I play it now?
Yes. We should all mute ourselves.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's your hosts, Wancho and Vibe.
I always thought the bulge in your guys' pants was
Keeping
way too
up
big.
with the Geek Bros.
It was accurate. Very accurate.
You guys were not that thin.
Alright. This is your boy Juancho.
This is Vibe.
And
hair.
this is our first pilot episode, Vibe.
I'm sort of proud to be here.
You should be happy to be here. You have less work to do now.
Can I ask you a question before we get started? How did you come up with the title for this podcast?
Originally, this was supposed to be done on video. But can you imagine videotaping everything once a day, having a full-time job, going to school, and still being able to manage all the news?
Very true. But I'm talking. I get the concept. I'm talking about the title. Keeping up with the Geek Bros. I didn't come up with that. I know you came up with that.
We're keeping up with them. We're trying to figure out what the hell's up with Juancho and Vibe doing. What kind of research are they doing?
By the way, now he's referring to us in the third person.
So we've been gearing up for this episode on Friday and trying to find a mic, and we go and get into an accident.
Yes, we do.
How do we begin an episode getting into an accident?
Forget about that. How did you get into an accident 3 seconds after you exit my complex? Okay, I'm sorry. I need to laugh like Juancho.
And another movie that I wanted to discuss that kind of upset me. What were you in your childhood? Her persona to play this character and make Wonder Woman what Wonder Woman was back in the time.
In your childhood?
In my childhood, actually, when I was watching who was the one, DC or Marvel. I just can't relate to DC as much as I can relate to Marvel, unfortunately. A little more detail on it. We'll probably get back because I'm trying to find out what's going on. So,
one of our cameras went out.
Yeah, so.
And it's dead.
I shouldn't be dead, but it happens. That's only been.
Thanks for tuning in.
It's only been 22 minutes.
Check us out at We Be Geeks.
So that.
Oh wow!
That was a supercut of the first
things change
of the first episode. Juancho, I'd like you to reflect on episode 1. Go for it.
Man, my going out hiatus wise and everything like that. Seeing my baby grow from like episode 1, I'm a proud father of my baby being where she's at now. On
Speech.
Episode 1 was a hell of an episode. It cost me 3 years of expensive car insurance.
Listen, I want to make it very clear. When he went, I said, wait. All right, I saw it coming.
I don't have that car anymore. I traded it in. But that car took it, even though it drove home with a big ass.
It was fine.
It just drove home. Episode 1
drove home. We still went to Best Buy afterwards.
Being what we wanted. Either way, let's just move forward. It was quite a journey. Having an idea that I really wanted to push out and having Vibe there to help out get that idea going. It was that's what episode 1 was all about.
I did not make it easy on Juancho whatsoever.
Getting two creative minds to finally get something, even though at that time he was so against podcasting.
Absolutely against it.
Very.
His studio was going only to podcast and videos, but that's the one. It's a whole bunch of mixed emotions. Like I'm just trying to hold them in because it's a lot. Just because that first episode means a lot to me. Like the most episode that I've always go back to was the first episode because it just explains a lot of the dynamics between the group and what exactly what exactly was the group about. It wasn't just about talking about geek stuff. It was about having brotherly moment to share something that you don't have. I don't have a
Absolutely.
brother. I have a sister. My sister's completely off the scale with what I like.
Well, she was one of the original Geek Girls. I just want to throw it out
But
there.
still, it was not something that I can relate, like talk
Right.
like that. At that time, I was dating. I was my wife was my girlfriend at that time. Even though we didn't relate.
It was a fairly new relationship at the time too, right?
Yeah, fairly
It was fairly new.
And
I told Juancho I give him 6 weeks. I was wrong. When I give him 6 weeks.
I'm glad you missed on that one.
And so episode 1 means the world to me. I've been missing for a couple months, months. I mean, almost a year. But I needed time to think things over and relax and try to. I was going through a lot of stuff going in. I just got married. Financial was very tight. So it was a lot of things mixed in, and I just said, you know what, F everybody. I just need to take care of myself.
Absolutely.
I'm in a better place now, way better mentally and physically. Thanks to my my coworkers and the position that I currently hold, it helped out to understand the of mental health and
You didn't catch that.
self-care. So seeing back episode 1 reminded me of that importance of self-care, because it reminded me of what I was and what I was becoming wasn't something that I liked. Now that I seeing back episode 1, episode 2, seeing growing up, I feel that I've matured in such a way that it's helped me a lot. So again, episode 1
deep.
means everything. Yeah, like even then, like nowadays it's more straight to the point. And if I talk to myself back then, it's two completely different people, and I appreciate everything. Like, then later on we brought Darth Flex in, Garbanzo, and all y'all cast, Reyes, Man, Carlos Sam, Joe Taro, Squeezy Bits.
Yeah.
Even though I've not been here, I've been seeing you guys from behind, not really incognito ninja style. Just been watching you guys and seeing the podcast grow and seeing everything it's been. It's a very wonderful thing to see that it's been taken care of my baby, and she's doing great. And I'm here in the 100th episode. I think it's appropriate for me to be here, even though at times it was like, you know what, do I really want to do this? Like, I even like, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know what, the mature me has to be there, and I have to continue accepting things and move forward. And I'm here.
That's well said. Well said. And that's, that's why I definitely said we could not do the 100 episode without you. I wanted to make a very fun fact. Juancho and I never, ever did a 2-camera setup ever again. It was the first and last time that ever happened. After that, we gave up.
But now, that was back then when I had my...
you sold your camera, sucker. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I did. And now I have a nice DSLR.
Canon. Oh, you have a new camera. No, see, Flex to me, you sold it. You were done with that life.
TI7 DSLR. That's what you guys are seeing me with.
Snap.
DSLR,
Excuse me.
Interchangeable lenses, connects to the computer. Fancy. And you know what? I learned something during those times. If you're going to spend money on equipment, make sure you spend on the best. That's something.
I like that.
Man.
Right. Now we're finally ready to actually get into today's topics. Juancho, you're up.
What's new in the gaming world? Fresh sound. So what's new in the gaming world? All right, let me see if I still remember how to.
So video games out this week, brought to you by Juancho.
All right, and my English has gotten a little bit better. So y'all.
That was the best. You guys remember we see the video games out and he would read it out. That was my favorite segment of the podcast.
Yeah, you used to love that.
Yeah, English has gotten better. Into the Radius came out on PC on July 20th. Golftopia came out on PC on July 21st. Rock of Ages 3 Make and Break came out on PC, PS4, Xbox, Switch, Stadia on July 21st. Yeah, Stadia is still a thing, even though it's like low-key not really doing its thing. It's still a thing, and they're still actually getting games for it, but that's none of my business. Carrion came out on PC, Xbox, and Switch on July 23rd. A lot of people are complaining a lot about that game. I've been watching Twitch. I actually got to play it. There's no map. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. It's a very complicated game. It's by Death Revolver. Death Revolver. I think I'm messing up the studio thing.
You got it.
It's Devolver.
Yeah, Devolver. There we go. Thank you, Raz. It's all right. Roki came on PC on July 23rd. Ageless came on PC and Switch. Well, that's for next week. But yeah, those are the games for this week. Not that much. Not much in the games. I mean, everybody's getting ready for next gen, and the only games that are coming out were the ones that were scheduled for from last year.
So I just want to point out that this was like watching Howard the Duck. Okay, so you don't remember how much you enjoy something that you haven't seen for a long time until you see it again, and you're like, oh my god, now I remember why I love this fucking movie. I just had that moment right now. That was actually thank you.
I agree, man. This was the best. Yeah, want to go over the video games again, bro. Also, I really did love this segment. And by the way, English did not get better, but I do appreciate that about you because I did not want change from this. I want this exactly to be what it just was. It was this poor little Colombian immigrant coming here and giving us video games out today with a bad American accent. And I love it.
American dream to the best, man.
That's and I appreciate you.
And in Spanish,
God, I miss that so much. I miss that so much.
All right, so we are skipping Council of Men, and we're moving on to the next segment. Juancho.
Our next inebriated segment.
Oh shit.
He was so enthralled. He was so enthralled with Juancho, he forgot his stuff.
About George Lucas, who stepped in to save Star Wars, and Donald Glover returning to Lando. As Lando in Disney Plus series.
So absolutely. So the first one for the George Lucas, I sent you the article, but the article is not like a credible article or anything. I just sent it for the idea. I think it'd be a good discussion. So excuse me. It seems that
today.
It seems that so our last discussion, Kathleen Kennedy was not included in one of these meetings, whatever. So it seems like she's probably going to be out of the picture, correct?
Yes. Out, hopefully, maybe.
And the idea has been teased online, or at least put in as like a little bit of bait, as George Lucas coming in and stepping in for for him it would really be a hobby because he doesn't need the money, but coming in and just
more like
helping
securing his. I would say securing his legacy, but sure.
Is his ex-wife coming along too? Because that'd be great.
She can get it. So, what? You don't like chocolate, bro? Come on.
No, wife. He meant the one, Marsha Lucas, the one who.
No. Oh,
the one who saved Star Wars in the edit.
Yeah, I thought he meant current wife. Okay. I don't know. Don't care. But
look up what his current wife.
So the conversation I want to spark here is who should step in Kathleen Kennedy's place to save Star Wars. In my opinion, my dream, regardless of what people say of the prequels and the remaster stuff, I would like George Lucas to step in because maybe it's because yeah, she is.
She's really pretty.
She is. This is the first time you see her?
I've never seen what she looked like. Wow.
Yeah.
My man, the swirl.
Right. But I would love to see George Lucas step in Kathleen Kennedy's place. He probably wouldn't have canceled Star Wars 1313, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
He's surprised because under his watch, Battlefront, the original Battlefront 3 or 4 was canceled under his watch. So don't.
But Battlefront 2 was the most solid Battlefront in the world. Not the current Battlefront 2.
Right. No, yeah, the one in the past. But they were planning for Battlefront 3, the original Battlefront 3. I mean, it seemed to be amazing. So
you're giving a lot of credit to George, but that was pretty much all LucasArts Interactive.
LucasArts, bro. Yeah.
Right. They were gone. They were getting down at that point. They even what was it? 3033? Was it
1313?
They were killed by that.
Bro, I remember this. At least I got it right. That game was supposed to be massive.
Bro, it looked beautiful. So my question for you guys is here, and for the reason for this topic. Again, the article for the topic is not something we should look into. Fuck that. But it's the question itself. So if Kathleen Kennedy's out of the picture, who would you guys like to see step in that role and potentially, have the fate of Star Wars in their hands? For me, honestly, probably as a fanboy, because I'm not as intellectually invested in this as probably someone like Raz or Vibe or Garbanzo. I'm more of I'm enjoying the ride, and pretty much almost everything has been enjoyable for me. I'm like a dog with a stick. I'm pretty easy to please, but George Lucas would be great. So, what do you guys think as far as someone stepping in Kathleen Kennedy's place?
Ronald D. Moore.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What would he do this series? I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about Battlestar Galactica style Star Wars. I don't know.
A little Deep Space Nine, just to
Deep
get us
Space
on.
Nine?
Get us a Tashi Station.
You know what?
Series.
He could do the Yuzon Vong invasion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Rock the hell out of that.
I'm really thinking. I mean, I would love to see George Filoni, but I think that'd be just too much for his plate.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because he's the head of all of their animated stuff, and even he's part of their writing team for everything.
I mean,
but I think that if they put somebody else to take, basically if they have somebody else take over his thing as the animated executive producer for all the for Lucas Animation or Star Wars Animation, then make him the head of basically the whole umbrella. I think it'd be perfect.
I think they can, because I think there's plenty of suitable people that can take the animation mantle.
Yeah, George. I mean, I think Dave Filoni is the new George Lucas. He's this generation's George Lucas in the Star Wars universe.
And I agree. And it doesn't even have to be a single person. I think like a strong group. Like, man, what Jon Favreau and Filoni do together, I think is amazing. So it shouldn't be limited to one person being the head of what's going to happen in the future. I
would also be ecstatic with Jon Favreau stepping in and saying, "Hey, I'll do it." I mean, I think that he has enough of idea of how things are supposed to go, and has the clout right now to do it. And then also we're going to see him in a lot more TV shows and movies, which I don't have a problem with at all. He's like the P. Diddy of producers.
Yeah, we mentioned this, right, a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
He would be the best choice that would never take the job.
Yeah, he won't do it.
Well, he wasn't a Soprano, so I don't know. No.
Is that it?
Nobody else?
That's it.
Moving on.
All right, moving on.
I would expect something from Juancho.
Lando Calrissian.
Oh yeah, you didn't
Okay.
know yeah.
So for Lando Calrissian, again, don't worry about the article. It's just a concept. So I'm not really interested in seeing another solo sequel or another solo series. But I mean, the movie was fun as a space movie, like not a solo movie. But at first, so when we all watched the solo movie, I told Vibe, like, man, I was really feeling Donald as Billy D. Williams in the first appearance. Like the first couple of seconds he came in, I'm like, whoa, this
he did it. He did it.
This is Lando.
He did an impression for like
later
seconds.
Yeah, for a few seconds. Then later on, it kind of made him his own thing, which I did not dislike. It just wasn't Billy D. Williams for me. But after rewatching it a couple of times, I gotta say my favorite character of Solo is Lando Calrissian.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Hands down.
And Chewie.
And honestly, it'll never replace. Well, yeah, she was good, I guess. I just didn't like how they put subtitles on them. But Chewie or Solo, whatever. That interaction was whack as fuck. But so I love Billy D. Williams, even though he didn't shake my hand in Celebration. Whatever.
Celebration.
He gave us a fist bump.
It was a fist bump.
Yeah.
In Anaheim.
But listen, he gives a fist bump and sanitize his hand. I get it, but
he was preparing for the global pandemic. Okay, give him a break.
This was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, 2015.
He has the gift. Man, he has the
how
gift
many
of
hands does he have to touch?
He has the gift of foresight.
I don't give a fuck.
Some nasty ass, nerd ass, jizz covered fingers. Some Vienna sausage. Ham hock.
I made sure that I did not jerk off that day. Plus, Forrest Whitaker gave me a hug. So,
also true.
What's up?
And look what happened to him. He's got a bum eye now.
Was that before or after? He gave you that a hug before or after you fondled Hayden Christensen?
I mean,
that was after I fondled
and Hayden Christensen doesn't act anymore. You ruined a career.
Roz, I'm gonna respectfully ask you to go fuck yourself. Now, okay, so I would absolutely love to see Donald Glover, only because before the solo movie, I was a fan of him as an actor. I was a fan of him as a musician in Childish Gambino. I mean, bro, well, I mean, that's actually one of my favorite songs. But no, before that, I mean, he is such a talented young man. I would love to see Donald Glover in a TV series because Disney Plus absolutely has the money. If you look at what The Mandalorian was.
Yes.
I would definitely love to see a Lando spinoff or even a better solo series if they really had to, but with a strong Lando influence. But honestly, if their decision was to have a series of Lando Calrissian based on
I don't see a reason why
Donald
not.
Glover.
Yeah.
So I mean, that got me excited because one, I love Donald Glover as an actor, period. But excuse me.
Okay, I'm gonna hold.
I'm
just gonna interrupt you real quick. Joe Taro's got to go. He's got to make those dollar bills. Joe Taro, thank you so much for joining us on the.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm sorry I'm cutting off so early. I just appreciate it.
Before you dip out, I just want you to give us your best memory of Star Wars Celebration Chicago before you go, because I did want to bring that up.
Do not do the one where we waited in that line for that one kid that came in.
No, I'm sorry. That's the best memory. That's the best
memory.
And not the shilling your stuff on eBay thing. That's not allowed.
No. The kid on the line was the best memory because we didn't stop talking about that for like hours.
We've never stopped talking about that. We
still mention that, like when I was doing some of the episodes with you guys. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We always
he was a friendly guy, okay, and we should have made a new friend that day. Okay, that's all I can say. Joe Tar, thank you so much for joining the 100 episode. Hey, listen, it was an absolute pleasure, and you, sir, are dismissed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Flex, carry on what you were saying.
I think I was saying that I would love to see Donald D. Glover in a Star Wars series because I think he actually has the talent and the range.
Is there a D in his middle name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say D?
You said Donald D. Glover.
I'm thinking Billy D. Williams. Donald Glover absolutely has the talent and the range to play Lando Calrissian. I'm sorry, it's the 7 beers I'm in, but yeah. Again, from what I saw with The Mandalorian and what they're capable of doing, I don't see why we can't get a pretty good Lando Calrissian miniseries or full series, whichever. But
I agree.
I really would love to see him on there. More so than I would love to see Solo again, honestly. But not as much as Kenobi.
Okay, absolutely. That'd be kind of cool.
Final thoughts before we move on, gentlemen.
I gotta piss.
Fantastic.
Yes, for Lando.
Okay.
More Lando. Give me more Lando.
Juancho, next topic.
We're going to talk about, it's Garbanzo's Corner. We're going to talk about Disney reopened amid the whatever. Go ahead, Garbanzo.
Yeah, I got you. Well, thank you for the warm introduction.
He's rusty.
Thank you for the warm introduction, my good man. Actually, so the couple things I want to talk about. First things first is actually the reopening here in Florida of the parks. Not just Disney, but just in dealing with this whole the second wave of COVID-19. So prior to Disney opening, the stuff started. COVID numbers were starting to basically they weren't dropping; they were just kind of stabilizing and still pretty high. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it spiked on the same week that Disney was like, "Hey guys, welcome back." So just so people understand, Disney has taken immense precautions in putting plexiglass between the barriers and things like that. There's the way that their system works is actually you have to make an appointment to go on certain days. Annual pass holders only for the first few for the most part. They are allowing very few additional new ticket sales, but but mostly you have to stay at the Disney parks, Disney hotels to be able to do that. But they mostly just kind of they're basically using the annual pass holders as guinea pigs to see how everything works. They're enforcing social distancing, enforcing people wearing their masks. They have cool-off stations and in different areas of the park where you could go take off your mask for a few minutes and then still stay away from be at the proper distance for everybody. I think there's actually almost 10 feet between different little pod or little areas like the umbrella and everything. There's lots of hand washing stations, hand sanitizer everywhere. But the fact is that at the end of the day, it's Florida. It rains. Everyone's not going to be able to social distancing when they're all kind of stuck inside a store trying to stay under an awning. Yes, I believe that. I don't think they're doing it just for the money, but they're trying to, get people out there and get some employees back out there. I mean, I can understand that. I know people who have gone to Universal since they've opened, and they said they had a fantastic time. Were able to stay distant. It was almost empty. It was like having the park to yourself. Some people hate that. Some people want that. Some people were like, I never got the chance to go on this ride before, so I finally get to go on it. Whereas other people are like, I miss having that camaraderie. I miss having people in the line that I can speak to, because it was a social environment for them. It was a social gathering for them. It's like going to a convention and then not having to wait in line to see somebody, and not have that camaraderie, that fun, that sitting there and talking to the guy like, hey, how long have you been a fan of this? Or how long? It's like that's kind of, there are individuals that prefer that. I think that right now it's still too early to tell whether they're doing it right or not. Roz, I know you give me that the side eye, but the fact is that did they open early? They'd open too early. It's kind of hard to, for me, I can't really tell. Am I gonna go? Am I gonna go? Well, the thing is that but the whole thing is that Florida numbers keep on rising. But we don't know if that's the reason in referencing, if it's only because of Disney. Because the fact of the matter is that almost every single hotel in South Beach is open right now, except for maybe one or two. Okay, those two hotels that are closed are doing it for the right reasons. They're making sure that everything's set before they can actually do everything right. Okay, and I understand, I respect that, but the fact is that there's still people coming here from all over the world, all over the United States. They're still coming here and they're hanging out. If you go to South Beach right now, you go to Fort Lauderdale right now, half the people on the beach aren't doing it, and that's what's causing the biggest issues.
Sure. Yes.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes. However, what is the tragedy of the commons?
So is Disney and Universal.
What is the tragedy of the commons? Hey, listen, everybody else is fucking up. Why shouldn't I? It won't make too much of a difference.
Self-individualism. That's the problem.
Fucking yeah, that hyper-individualism without giving a shit about your fellow man. So
no, it's true.
Now, I think you're I think you're very wrong. I think they did open early and they shouldn't have, but that's all.
No, and I'm not saying that they may. I think they may have opened up too early. They do. I honestly do think they did. I don't see myself going anytime soon. I want to so bad. I can finally go on that freaking Pandora ride.
Any fucking ride. It's like
no. The Pandora ride still has like a 35-minute wait, even with nobody there. That thing has a 2-hour wait every time I've ever gone. I want to go on that Pandora ride. I lost enough weight where I can fit in the chair now.
Hey, do you want to hear?
I can't go.
Do you want to hear a really fun fact? So in the human body, our veins and our arteries have the pump mechanism coming from the heart, but our capillaries do not have a pump mechanism. The only pump mechanism that they would have is muscular pump. So if you stand in lines for a long time, see the capillaries have these little valves that kind of stop blood from flowing over. If you just stand for a long time, that's how you get varicose veins. That's another reason why I fucking hate.
Well, that's why when I stand in line, I march.
That's actually a good way to fight it. But if you're standing around
and stretching constantly, and then my ADD is constantly having me work around in circles, it's horrible.
That's great. That's great.
100%. Seeing friends and family going through this thing is horrible. I know they're surviving, but still, it's horrible. We don't want people to go through that nonsense. And they only open because, unfortunately, they have to follow the guidelines of the state. They don't want to go against the state where they're basically living from. And I understand people have jobs, but this multi-billion company, even though they lost $8 billion during this, I think they lost a big chunk of money during this time off from the park.
Everybody has.
They wanna get employees back. I mean, I tell everybody. I mean, there's other companies looking for right now until your dream job wants to open up, and then look for other ways of being able to support your family. I know it's tough, but still, if they open. Yes, I have a friend who went back there to Universal about a couple weeks ago. They came back, tested positive.
See, that's the
what they
big
got.
thing. So but that's the thing is that now you can't there and blame anybody else for this. If the thing is that there is a risk, there is a very high risk that if you go to one of these places, that there is a chance that you're going to end up testing positive.
And that
The
makes you
question
a
is,
dipshit.
the fact of the matter is that you have to make a choice. What's more important? Disney, which is not going anywhere, they're not going to close. That part will never shut
They got
down.
too much money. They're not going anywhere at all.
Okay, I don't ever think they're gonna. No, people. If I am one of the millions of people that if Disney said we're about to close unless we have this much money, I will send them $5, bro. What's it gonna cost me? I don't care. I'll do it. I have no issue whatsoever.
They charged me $175, and I called them right back. I'm like, I want my money. I ain't going to your parks and paying for the rest of the plan.
I am so happy. I am so happy. I dislike theme parks and Phantom of the Tempted Forest so much that the only reason I really went was because of my girlfriend. But I do not like lines. I don't like being around little fucking kids touching everything. I don't like being around big crowds and shit. That's how terrorism happens.
Oh, Jesus.
Flex, I'm with you because the only reason why I go anywhere when it comes to like theme parks and anything is because obviously I have children. But I don't know if any of you guys saw the video that I posted on IG and
yes,
Facebook.
I have.
Yes, I did.
That right there, just like the story that I shared, just basically sums up everything about how I feel about what's going on right now, which is why I don't agree with, Disney opening up and everything opening up as fast as it has. I mean, where I work at, you guys, I work for a casino. That's crazy as it is. So for me, in the situation that we're in right now during this pandemic, I can't. That's it. I just can't.
It's a perfect example. Like my situation right now is I have an opportunity to start working, not at my regular job, but I have another part-time that they're asking me to come work more often. In the last 2 weeks, they've had 2 positive cases.
Is this Total Wine?
Yeah.
Any more beer?
No, it's not. Can we edit that, please? You're such an ass.
What?
I hate you so much. I forgot
what did I miss?
Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. But the whole thing is, I have to choose between. They take a lot of safety precautions, and there's no point. There's no way of saying that. There's a lot more than just 2 people that work in that place, and they have. Great. I know what they do to as precaution wise because I'm part of. I'm one of the individuals that helps do that. But and the whole thing is one small mess up, one small thing. It's just you forget one time you forget to put on a glove, or one time you touch your face. And you forget before changing your gloves. There's so many small little things that can happen. So you have to be extra careful and extra cautious of it. I'm constantly touching my face and with my glasses and just like this with the beard and things like that. So my whole thing is I literally have to stop all my normal tics and all my normal tics and reactions that I normally do. I have to be conscious. Like, holy crap, did I wash my hands? I have to change these gloves. I have a wife who's pregnant at home.
Okay.
I have both my mother-in-law and my mother are both highly, a high risk, as being breast cancer survivors. My stepfather was also a cancer survivor. Like these are high risk. I have high blood pressure. I am overweight. I used to have asthma as a kid.
I think you're the perfect size.
Thank you.
At the end of the day, this right here is what's speaking right now.
That's the only thing that
Unfortunately,
matters.
It's the only thing that matters. And theme parks, everybody else, money.
Right there.
Like I'm not even gonna.
Sorry.
And the whole thing is, I'm not even gonna sit here and say that I haven't gotten emotional. Some of the videos that I've seen from Disney because honestly, I love going to those parks.
Dude,
I have some amazing memories.
They'll still be there, Garbanzo. They'll still be there.
No. And I've literally sat there and talked to my wife and be like, man, I really wish we could go. But at the same time, I know what's more important.
Prioritize,
my health and safety. And that actually kind of does a perfect little transition over to my next topic.
It does dovetail into it, yes.
Life as a father to be in this current social environment. Go ahead.
Situation is right.
Well, it's multiple things, and I've kind of mentioned this slowly, mentioned it a little bit before. People joke around and say that your mentality is going to change when you have a kid. Like, people used to tell me that all the time when I was younger. Like, oh, you think like that now, but wait till you have a kid. And I was like, man, whatever, dude. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. And like, the way I think is the way I think. Holy crap. Everything you think about has a different way of affecting you because of your kids.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Allegedly.
how is it?
Not allegedly.
No,
100%.
I'm
Absolutely
proven,
allegedly.
I'm proven fact. Okay, you physically saw the experiments right here. So the big thing is that in reference to their current social environment would be with everything with Black Lives Matter, with having the current political situation, and choosing on which side of the shit sandwich do you want to eat, the one with or without peanuts. It's just it is what it is. Like, how do you raise a kid to be a good person? Not just not a good man, not a good woman, a good person that understands the compassion, that understands that they have to worry about other people. That's the way I was raised. There's certain phrases that I would not be able to use without being socially unacceptable. Like, take it, be a man, don't do this, don't do that. At the same time, like, I know what that felt like. And honestly, now I have an opportunity to be an upgraded version of my father. And that's a great thing. And my son's going to be an upgraded version of me.
That's how it is.
So I have this, and it's a huge responsibility on my shoulders right now, because that's the way I'm putting the responsibility on myself. I'm choosing this life. This is something that I want to do. I finally get to share my ideas, my knowledge with someone who's, and then to help them grow, whether they like my ideas or not. And they're going to have their own and do all these great things. And with everything going on, all I want is to bring them into a better place. Like my parents before me, parents came from Cuba, from a communist regime, and busted their ass to buy their first house and live in that environment. I want to do the same thing for my kids. Work really hard, build them a safe place to go to school, help them grow to be the best people they can, help build that foundation. And in this current environment, it's not the same as it used to be when I was younger. Now it's not like, like there's things now that are not acceptable as they were before. The whole idea of, the boys will be boys. No, you have a responsibility.
Runner attack.
I have a responsibility to teach my son on how to be a good man, how not to objectify and objectify females, in that, well, it's not okay to make those remarks, or it's not okay just to go over and pinch someone's ass. No, that's when I was a kid in elementary school, like you would not get in trouble for that. They'd be like, oh, boys just being boys, it's just okay.
You could play grab ass when you were younger?
Well, no, you get in trouble, but you wouldn't get suspended.
I didn't know that. That wasn't my childhood.
I'm saying like no.
That's
it's like where if someone like a guy, like, it's like, oh, it's like you would, the kids that would hit each other when they liked each other and stuff like that, where it's, now it's like, oh, it's assault, it's sexual assault in certain situations. It's not like it's, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's you have to explain to your kid, like, okay, this is right and this is wrong. This is, you treat someone with respect regardless of age, race, of whether they're older or younger, and if they disagree with you, that's okay. You can have someone disagree with you and still be a good person. They don't have to agree with them. You can, but it's you have the proper discussions, because it's just so much, and I am nervous and scared and excited, and all I know is
that was my next question. Do you have hope?
Oh, absolutely. I don't I don't have any worries at all that eventually my son was going to be the best person he's going to be. You know, or if he decides that he wants to be a she at the same time, it's not going to bother me either. Or if he wants to be asexual or any of the other, that's going to be, again, I'm going to let my kid make his choices. And I do not, I know what it's like where you're in a situation where, and I know that that's not the most popular opinion, but that's just the way that I see it, because that's what I would want for me.
Hey, Garbanzo, can I make you feel good about something real quick?
What's that?
You have something really awesome going for you, you know, as a father raising a kid today. And that's, kids today are much more socially aware than we ever were growing up, like full stop. You know, you don't have, like you were describing the grab ass culture and whatnot, but still, like, children, just because they are more socially aware, just because everybody's so much more interconnected, you know, they just on the general have a better outlook and better interactions with each other. So that should give you some hope.
Well, I'm gonna agree with everything that Raj said, because Garbanzo, you've met the artist formerly known as Little Man, because he's grown now. He has opened up in ways in the culture that we're currently in right now. To me especially, because I'm a man's man. That's the one thing. I'm a man's man. Right, man in the name. And he's come up to me and he's opened up. He's actually been bi-curious for a while. So this atmosphere in what we're going through right now in this day and age, I've accepted him. I love my son. There's nothing wrong with it. He's my firstborn. I will always love him.
Hell yeah, we're proud.
Right. And the only thing that I want him to be is just be respectful to everybody, you know, love everybody as we all love you. I love everybody. I don't care your gender, your race, what you choose to identify yourself as. I don't care. You know, that's how we have to raise our children. Not everybody's like that in this day and age. And that's the sad part. You know, again, he's dad. I date on and off I go back and forth between females, males. I kind of like males more than anything else. He might not like what I'm telling him right now or what I'm saying right now, but hey, he is what he is. And I love my son to death. There's nothing about him that I would change at all.
And that's amazing, dude. And you know, and I can honestly say that I have no idea what I'm in for, like that. And but at the same time, it's like opening a new book that I have no information about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I didn't read the back cover. Like, I read the back cover, so because everyone's been telling me, oh, giving me ideas and this may happen, but this is a book that only I'm gonna read. Nobody else in this world is gonna read this book. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna get to experience it page by page on my own with my wife. She's gonna have her own book. Her book is gonna be different than mine, but this is gonna be my book between me and my son. You know, and I'm looking forward to every single line. Every single page is going to be just one of the most amazing things that I can expect it. And then eventually I may get lucky enough, and I may get a new book, whether it be a daughter or another son. And I'm going to cherish every single page of that book up until the last page, whether or not I get to read it, or hopefully, you know, that I hopefully I don't ever get to read that last page, but that book will always keep on going. But that's just that I look forward to that and I love that idea. I love the fact, you know, it's like that's just it. And then just it's, and I have all this stuff that I get to share, which is also great, which actually kind of flows right into my third part of the.
Well, before you go into your third one, I just want to get, because Kylo Sam, you know, he has a different take. He grew up in a different era. I just if you could round out what we discussed just now about, you know, being a father in the current environment, how it was being a father back then, how they compare before we move on. Just your personal opinion.
Yes, and you know what, the world has changed, and the change right now, based on what I've noticed, is even more rapid, because every so often, every 5 or 6 years, you would see a shift. as I recall growing up. But as of recent history, it's like the shift is happening faster and faster. And I think Raz mentioned it because of the awareness at a very young age. Our children are being subject or come into contact with certain things that maybe during my time, it would just be local. You had to wait your turn for the world to get to you to become aware of X, Y, and Z.
To notice you, exactly.
Right? Okay. So based on that fact, I would definitely say also that the approach to parenting have to also be different. There has to be a certain openness to from us parents to and from us dad, because we male here, from us dad to have the flexibility to really gauge also what kind of son or daughter that you have, because your child may, and that's the thing about the book that Garbanzo mentioned. The book is very different from child 1 to child 2, and mind you, I raised two boys, but boy 1 and boy 2, they are not the same.
Oh no.
One, you look at him and go, come on, man, he gets it. The other one is like, okay, all right, let's sit down, let me explain to you why this is wrong, and you have to, and he'll get it. But you almost have to ask him, when you open the door, what did you see? What was your assessment? And once he gets it, it's solid. But the first one, just to look and go, come on, you know better. Oh, like, yeah, Dad, I know better. So what I'm saying as well in all this is there's not a guide, so to speak, to parenting. I look now and I go back and I'm, dang, what were you thinking, Sam, when you said that to these kids? And it's okay. I mean, I'm sure you all, I've gotten beat. My parents, they had no problem with corporal punishment, for instance. You did something, you got a spanking. Now, I'm happy that they were never harsh about it in the sense of, you just didn't show up and then they smack you. And there are certain rules. My parents never smack you in your face, or there was none of that. And I grew up with corporal punishment. My brother got the worst of it because he was the kind of kid where you tell him not to do something, he will touch it or push you to the point to see what you were going to do about it. But then I have my sister. They said they never had to touch my sister. They look at her and frown. She knew her things. So nowadays, though, if you take a look at it, and I've noticed how my father approached me, I'm the last of 4 kids, and there's an 11-year gap between my closest sister and myself. When I relate to the other siblings and tell them how my parents dealt with me, they were like, listen, they were not like that. They certainly softened up with you. And I think that's adapting the parenting skills to the time, but also to the child is also important. Right now, for instance, corporal punishment, I don't think would work the way that it worked with me.
No.
Not at all.
Exactly.
But the science tells you it doesn't work.
Listen. I'm from the island. They and once again, the parents did for me what they thought was the best.
Absolutely.
And you take it as that. And and mind you, they use corporal punishment, and I know it's an iffy subject, but they never abused of it. I didn't get a whipping every single thing that I did. Those horror stories didn't happen for me.
Yeah.
Did I get it every so often? Yes, I did. But I know
Spare
exactly.
the rod, spoil the child.
Well, listen, they believed in it, and but as I mentioned, right now would not be the method that would work for this current generation.
Agreed.
Locking them down, preventing them from doing X, Y, and Z necessarily without explaining to them cause and consequence, explaining to them the value of their choices. You're going to make that choice, but it brings consequences with it. And teaching them principles too, so that they can make good decisions when we are not around for them. Have kind of like, sometimes it's pictures with that little good and that little evil that talks to them. Teaching them thinking ability, to me, is more important than anything, versus a set list of rules, because that rule will be blown up. Last but not least, I remember the first time that I gave a punishment to my child, to the second one that I told you have to be very clear with him. I told him, hey, you didn't have the grades, so we are removing the PSP from you. We had a PSP at that time. I'm showing my age. So removing his PSP, right?
PSP was legit, all right? It was a
Yes,
legit.
it was good. Listen, I still have
Step your
mine.
game up. Step your game up.
It was pretty good.
It was good. I
Game
like
Gear,
the
baby.
PSP.
Game Gear all day.
Game Gear was good too.
Yeah.
Listen, so we said no PSP. He looked at us and said, okay, all right, I understand. So we came back from wherever we came. He's on the computer playing. So then we blew our top off. What the heck?
Smart kid.
Boy, what's... And then he looked and he was like...
I can't even say that I haven't done that.
Exactly,
I've actually done that
exactly.
same exact thing.
But think about it.
I've tested
He
those
was
boundaries.
testing you.
It's not
Oh
the
my God,
PSP.
they do that all the time.
Listen, beautiful. He got me.
Semantics. That's how I learned the word semantics, because of my parents. Because I would always find a loophole.
Thank you. So he said, I did not touch the PSP. You told me not to touch it. I respected you. So that's when I was like, I looked at my wife. I was like, yeah, we have to review our strategy. We have to review our strategy as a child, so that the punishment is the discipline, and you want them to have a self-discipline that will guide them, especially when you are not around. If they are in the middle of nowhere, they have a certain amount of discipline, a basis, if you want, because they can recall, how did they do it at the house? At least it gives me a basis for me to be safe, for me to avoid maybe bad association, because a lot of the time, you know what you put in your kid, but it's their friends, sometimes the association, and you get a lot of good kids in jail. Why? It's the association, man. You know what you put in there. They know what they hear from home, but they go in. So that ability to say, I love Timmy, he's a good guy, but he's into that kind of business that if I stay close to him, that's going to be trouble. So to me, that's the most important thing, really, teaching them that and staying flexible, and I mean, I know I went all the way around.
No, it works. It works.
No, man, absolutely. No,
Right.
thank you, dude. It's always great to get. There's a reason why I love these conversations with people, because it's experience is the best teacher.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty envious, man. I really wish I had a father who loved me.
Great.
All right.
I feel the same exact
Juancho.
way.
It's not a joke. Not a joke.
Juancho.
All right. Next topic, y'all. How to waste money during the pandemic. Sorry. I mean, how to be a collector during the pandemic.
So this is actually there's good and bad here, and the reason why I'm saying that is I'm currently today I was actually commissioned, legit. I was commissioned to help someone sell a comic book collection that they own. And that's kind of I actually want to bring this up. The being a collector in today's pandemic is good and bad. Good because there is a lot of people right now that are out there and they're suffering. They don't have jobs, and now it's a time that people can really take advantage of that. But the fact is that should you take advantage? That is the question that I wanted to bring up. This is why I wanted to talk about this. Yeah, you can still go out and find some great deals from people who need it. But at the same time, be a fucking human being. Okay? Just because someone's, what drives me nuts is I see people on eBay right now who are selling a priceless collectible that normally would sell for hundreds of dollars, and people are offering them $15-20 or $100. Like, this thing's worth $600 or $700, and they're offering them. Hey, like, perfect example. The individual here went to a comic book store, and I'm actually going to say what comic book shop it was, because this may actually surprise some of you and may not. They went to Tate's. Went to Tate's. Okay.
Wow.
They went there with literally the first appearance of Wolverine, the first appearance of and actually I think the comics that there was a stack of about 4 or 5 comics, okay, that right now valued ungraded in fair condition almost $7,000, a stack of about 4 or 5 books, okay, and they offered him $1,000.
To be fair, he went to Tate's.
That's my. But here's my. This is what I. Yeah. Yes, but here's my point. No, but that's my point. My point is that you have to be careful as a collector, someone who, especially those who are selling. you have to be careful about just selling things because you need the money right now. Understand that someone is going to take advantage of you half the time, if not more than half the time. You have to be smart. You have to do your research. You have to try to get into the right hands, because if you know what your book is worth or your collectible, whatever your item is worth, at the same time, understand that you're not going to get 100% of the value right now. To be able to sell it in this environment, you're going to have to, if the book is worth $7,000, you may have to accept $3,500 or even $3,000. Or if it's worth $100, you may have to accept $70 or $50. Understand that you're not going to get top dollar right now unless you find someone like Jeff Bezos, who maybe has more than enough money set aside and is that big of a collector, really wants that item. Because if you find there are certain things that you are going to be able to sell at that price. Now, as a collector, as someone going out and trying to look for the deals, there are individuals who are in need, but at the same time, understand that those individuals are in need and they're asking prices what they need at the time. Right. So if you cannot afford it, don't lowball them. And if you want to haggle, because haggling is part of the process, don't insult the collector. Because most of these are coming from collectors. Now, at the same time, you may get lucky, like I have in the past. Okay, or not for the pandemic, but a spurned ex-wife or a spurned ex-husband who's, you know what, my wife bought me. I don't care about this. I remember that. Yes, I got a bunch of
I don't even want to get into that.
Sorry, bro. I know that's a little too close to home. And hey, listen, if anybody, why, and that's the reason why, before the whole divorce thing, I moved everything to my mom's house. Anyways, true story. So it's extremely important just to be a human being right now. Go out there. There's plenty of different opportunities to find some really great buys. Just because it's cheaper than you expect does not mean that you can even lowball them even more. Just try to be fair. That's all I'm asking. Mm-hmm. And that's all I really got on that, gentleman. Sadly, at the end of this, because of this, I do have some things I got to take care of here at home. Some stuff arrived for the upcoming. And by the way, I know after speaking with the wife and everything, I do believe that my son's name is going to be Michael Luis Lopez, not
Jason Jr. Lopez. It's about time. Yes,
Michael,
absolutely. It's about time. Jason Jr. Chewy.
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna listen. You said Michael, right?
So yeah, Michael Luis Lopez.
So I have my brother who's listening to this podcast right now. I'm sure he's gonna text me and be like, "Yes, yes,
okay,
another Michael."
That's cool, but guess what? You don't have to call your child Jason Jr. It's fine. Guess what?
I know. I do.
Hold on. My full name is Jason Michael Grant Henriquez. Bam! That's my middle name, sucker. That's my middle name, sucker. All right.
So just before, if anybody wants to know the reason why is two things. Michael the Archangel has been just a big staple in my house, in my family, for many years, even prior to my father and things like that. So he is the battler of evil. He's the one that he is the first in line, as you could say, in the battle of good and evil. So it was just because of that, the name has always kind of stuck with me for as long as I can remember.
Are you sure it wasn't because of a Ninja Turtle?
The original comic.
It's possible.
Okay.
All right. I will say that when we first talked about it, my wife did say we could always do Michael and middle name Angelo, but we kind of changed that around a little bit.
That would have been cool. I think that would have been cool.
But that means if I had a girl, I had to name her Donatella, and I didn't like that name.
Oh God! Don't do that to that poor kid.
Of course not. I wouldn't do that. But like I said, I am so happy to be here on this 100th episode. Juancho, it is so great to see you, my brother. Kylo Sam. Again, I thanks for being here. Vibe, you still has been the cornerstone for keeping this thing going, and thank you for.
I've been in every episode.
Part of this. You have been in almost every episode.
No, not almost every episode.
Okay, whatever. Allegedly. Anyways.
Before you leave, drop your social media, and then I gotta.
Yeah, great. So for those who want to reach out and maybe also tell me what you think about being a father in today's society, or any of the topics we've talked about, or any of the topics that we are going to be talking about, just reach us on Garbanzo's Corner on Facebook.com. You can see me on IG, and on the Twitter on BeanTeek278. I'm much more active on IG than I am on Twitter. I do apologize, but hopefully I can still be training you up in the near future. Gentlemen, I love each and every one of you. It's an absolute pleasure.
Kylo Sam, you're wrapping up. We thank you so much for joining us. You are a breath of fresh air, my brother. Please, before you leave, say whatever you need to say.
Listen, guys, some people follow a path, others blaze a trail. When I think of a Vibe and Juancho, the trail that you blazed, and what happened is it takes courage. It takes courage, and you must also be have the heart of an adventurer. Basically
and
being
the eye of the tiger.
The eye of the tiger too, el ojo del tigre, like they say.
Modest.
Truly,
with or without a faja.
The faja. Don't mess with the faja. Okay, the faja's not good. But you guys, by doing that, by blazing your trail, you enable, all of us here to tag along, and we brought also our quirks, our personalities, and in order to do all that. So much appreciation for you guys. Much appreciation for all the crew also that you've allowed to shine. So guys, keep on shining, because when you guys shine, others shine too.
All right. That's how you end it.
Thank you, gentlemen. And again, thank you also, Ray, Man, and JJ. You guys, you guys are amazing. Again, I'm just blessed that my kid can actually look back and see how embarrassing how bearing his dad is before he was born.
All right. And with that said, we're going to move on to...
All right, guys.
Be well, gentlemen.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the Roz's swagger. The terrible prevalence of people in power preying upon children in the competitive fighting game scene. That's a mouthful. This article comes from Kotaku.com. Roz.
Man, so this is a pretty heavy and heady subject. Do any of you guys follow fighting games at all, like Super Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, etc.?
Joe Taro does, unfortunately.
I play them a lot. Didn't some guy get quit because he got rid? Something happened in big convention, right?
So, and especially in the Super Smash Brothers, I guess circles, a humongous amount of leaks happened about 2.5 weeks ago from Twitch chat, Twitter, Facebook chat, just everything across the internet, showing that a lot of these people that were very prominent in the fighting game circles, specifically Smash Brothers, were preying upon sexually minors. And it wasn't just one or two. It was, at last count, dozens of them. And many of them the most prominent members of that community. And everybody thought that it was going to end there, because there's been a lot of hoopla going around in the video game community now, because Ubisoft recently had a lot of people quit or be fired because of sexual harassment. So it's been happening across the board. But then that same week, the creator of the Evo tournament, which is the premier fighting game tournament in the world, was forced to step down because he himself had been sexually preying upon underage boys. And this is wild. This is video games. This is something that we all here love, and it's just been completely, destroyed the image of these games by these things that happened. And nobody knows how it happened as wide as it did. And more specifically, why nobody reported this before the big fallout, and why there's this culture of silence within a lot of geek culture. And it doesn't just apply to video games. It applies to, comics. It applies to, movies, cartoons. Anytime you get these large conventions together of people that used to be outliers, because we're not outliers anymore. Everybody likes geek culture now. It's not like the 80s or 90s. Why that tends to attract just the dregs of society. And I don't know, I'd like to hear some of your opinions on this.
Okay, so I have a crazy story. This happened a few years ago, and it kind of directs the story into the whole pedophile situation that's going on right now, that's being all put out there. So my stepfather, I was working, and he sends me a text message after the fact, and he sends me the name of the person, my stepfather. And again, I love my family in blue. I respect police officers, except for the bad ones, but obviously. He was at the grocery store with my son. Again, this was a few years ago. He's 18 now, but he was like maybe 13 or 14 at the time. And random dude crosses by them in the aisle, and he takes pictures of my son. And my son hears the clicks of the camera on the phone. And my son goes to my stepfather. He's like, "Hey, I think that guy just took a picture of you." And my stepfather, comes up to the guy and asks him, and the guy's like, "Hey, we're in a public forum. I don't really have to acknowledge your presence. I don't really have to tell you anything. Mind your own damn business. It doesn't matter what I do." And, the idea of the pedophilia that's out there, it's legit. And that's what bothers me out of everything. Like when I first got this outline on this topic and I read about it, it blew my mind. I didn't realize that, these gaming tournaments involve so much of that aspect. And it bothers me because, again, I am a father of a son and 2 more daughters. And to see this, knowing that it happened to one of my children already, not to the far aspect of, the article.
But still.
But still, it's as a father, it's like, it's crazy. Like, how do you put your children into these tournaments and not recognize or put into fruition or into light that this actually happened? I would literally lose my mind and kill everybody if anything like this with my children. And Vibe, I know you feel the same.
Exactly. Spoken like a true, proud, protective father. Yes.
Right. If one of your sons came to you and was just like, "Hey, Dad, this is what went down," I wouldn't even ask anything.
I'd be calling my Geek Bros to pony up a GoFundMe to bail me out.
Bro,
it would go down. It would go down.
It's crazy, and to see, like, my son is I brought him into the gaming world. He's a very big gamer. Him and I fight over our one PS4, and that's I'm literally, I have to get him.
That's why you gotta get an Xbox. Put it in your room.
I'm literally going to do that because you guys have sold me on it, and I'm gonna do it. But
the only reason why I have an Xbox is because it was gifted to me, because I would have never bought it myself. Best thing ever in my life, but I'm just saying.
I'm gonna eventually get the Xbox and give him the PS4, but him and I have been fighting over it. But if I was to send him on one of these tournaments and anything to that aspect happened to my son, you guys would not be talking. You wouldn't be talking to me right now. I would literally be in a different kind of a shirt. You wouldn't be.
No, we would, because you get some time to call, and we'd give you the number to just dial in from the jail cell, so it'd be fine.
But it wouldn't be. This is a photo of my cock. You wouldn't get that.
I want that shirt. I want that shirt right now.
You wouldn't get that. It would literally be an orange jumpsuit, and my hair I would probably have some hair on my head, and it would be braided, and it would be a different conversation.
That's what's up.
But the fact that this is actually legit and real, it blows my mind, and I'm so overprotective of my kids nowadays, because not only during this pandemic with everything that's going on and all the topics that are just coming out there, it's just like, what do you do? How do you handle situations in this aspect? So the whole gaming world with the Super Smash, like, when I read the article, I just said I lost it, and I'm glad I never sent myself, because he kicks my ass all the time.
Right.
He beats me all the time, and I'm just like, I didn't know that 1 and 2. I'm sorry, forget it. I'm lost.
I mean, on my side, I read that, and Roz was really outspoken about it, even on our group chat about it. And he's like, "Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this?" And not that I condone it, but I wasn't surprised. It didn't shock me. I'm just like, yep, that's just one more thing to add to the list. It didn't surprise me at all that because anything, especially with children involved, there is always going to be that little, whatever that are going to exploit a good thing and turn that into something.
But
something
man, the pervasiveness of
exactly. So
it.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised, and it hurt me to. In fact, the fact that I was able to do this. There's another one that it gave me pause. I'm just like, wow, where's my outrage? I can't believe I'm becoming so complacent that I'm getting. I expect this to happen now, unfortunately, and that's something I need to reflect on myself as a father because I did not have even a fraction of Roz's. And Roz is doesn't have children. He was 10 times, 100 times more outraged than I was. I just read it. I was like, yep, there goes another one. And it's quite a shame that it. I don't know if I'm becoming numb to it or they're slowly normalizing us to this nonsense, and that's the scary thing about it.
I think it's information overload.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. There's too much bad crap happening in the world. You can't keep track of it. So you start to become.
It's coming all over the place.
So on sticking to this subject, I have a theory, and it's shared by a lot of people, but I think the things that we're interested in, the geek culture and whatnot, tends to attract a certain type of person sometimes, and that's like the socially stunted and the Arrested Development style adult person. They didn't want to grow up or mature properly.
So you mean the cliche geek, the
cliche old school geek?
Yeah.
And people like that tend to view children as viable targets. And I don't know, man. It really put a really bad taste in my mouth.
It's disgusting. It's a safe place for kids to play, and unfortunately, these people are going to use the most safest place.
They're going to exploit
people,
of course.
And parents not giving enough of a shit to
attention,
be slightly aware of this.
The kids are playing.
Did you read about the fight houses?
What?
So they would send their kids to. Okay, do you guys know about startup houses and angel investor houses over in the Bay Area and in Silicon Valley where? What was the name of the damn show on HBO about Silicon Valley? Silicon Valley.
Silicon
That's
Valley.
Literally, that's a real thing. You'll have an angel investor. They'll have a
know.
bunch of guys developing applications, living in the house. If they develop something that makes it, boom, 10% for me.
So it's to be a little more mainstream, kind of like the particular maybe Act 2 or Act 3 of the Social Network.
So yeah, and these fight houses would be run by a dude or a couple dudes, and parents would send their 11, 12, 13-year-old kids to live there for weeks at a time to train so they can perform at fighting game tournaments, at a later time. And a few of these, turns out that the guys that were hosting the fight houses were molesting the kids.
Jesus.
And it wasn't just guys. There's a few in that list. If you read through it, there were more than a few women that were preying upon, kids that were 13, 14 years old. And like I said, it really is appalling that so many of them congregated, at the same time to the same, game.
Don't they say that psychopaths or those that have those kind of things, they tend to congregate together? So it's not without the
man. What a massive scale!
What a massive scale! What a massive scale! All right. Any final thoughts, guys, on this one before we move on?
Yeah, I have one thing to say actually. Is I'm not a father myself, but man, there's a couple of like deadly sins that I have for myself, and one of them is absolutely pedophilia, rape being another one, which kind of falls together. Again, not a father, but I saw that a lot overseas.
Lancho, what is going on over by you? I'm sorry, I have to. What is happening over there?
My light's falling, so I'll have to clip it back.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Darth.
So I saw a lot of that overseas, specifically when I was outside of Nazarea. We were in a small village. And so typically when we're there, grown men are not allowed to interact with females or children. Normally we'd have to have a female attached to our unit to go handle that. And so there was this case where I guess this this dude was molesting one of the villagers' daughters. And in the Muslim religion, of course, that's like a super sin. Far be it for us. To me, I mean, that's one of the most disgusting things to do. Like, bro, like that's a child. That's somebody's kid. Like, why are you
Shattering a
doing that?
person's life.
Absolutely.
forever.
And I have to say one thing. Take it as you will, whether you agree or not. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we should kill pedophiles. We should do." I actually had the fortune, or I guess whoever wants to say it, the misfortune of actually doing that. We actually found this man. Of course, our first thought was, "Hey, let's just put a bullet in it, be about our way, and get out of here." But because we're in a foreign country, we can't. So we captured him, and we turned him over to the chief of the village. That was the first time I've ever seen a person being stoned to death, and I didn't think it was too much. I think for someone to have molested a little girl like that, the way that he did, I would say maybe the stoning was a bit of a kindness. In my opinion, maybe it's too extreme. I don't know, but that's war. I just think that honestly, this world has no place for something like pedophilia, something like rape, something like just sexual misabuse. It's just, to me, it's one of the more disgusting things in this world.
Yeah. And to ruin a safe space like gaming with this.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Because it's succor for some people. It's a way to get away from a shitty life, and then, like I said, to have it absolutely destroyed.
Like, that's what I tell you guys. Like, man, like, I want my movies and my games to be an escape from reality. Like, I don't want to hear about politics. I don't want to hear about this other bullshit. But now you're getting into this game thinking you're gonna have a good time, and then some dude's trying to fawn to you. Fuck that guy. Like, I mean, if this wasn't, such a political place in a sense that I can't just put a bullet in someone's head, bro, if it was up to me, I would eat these guys.
But it's not so much. It's not so much just the politics or whatever. There's the anti-masters, and Vibe, you mentioned it, last episode. It was actually brought to my attention last week when I posted that video that I posted, that a lot of the individuals that are fighting the whole wearing of the mask is it's a self-repressment of what people have gone through during kidnapping and sexual assaulting and all of that fact. And again, I love to preach everybody's unity and individuality, and just bringing everybody together and loving everybody. But when those stories came out, when people have been raped and bound and gagged and everything of the sort, it's a saddening aspect that our country that we all hold to love and close to our hearts, we've all been involved. Not all of us, I'm sorry. Our country has been involved in similar situations as this. And JJ, you've seen this firsthand, in other countries. And a lot of those have been in the backing of the US of A. And that's the sad part of it. And this is where we all just need to get together and unify and change everything, because our country has been involved in a lot of backdoor things that no one knows about. And it might sound conspiracy theorist, but it's the actuality, it's truth.
So before we move on, Roz, what if anything has resulted from this revelation in the I guess the fighting community or in the
so the Evo tournament? The Evo tournament was completely canceled.
Okay, well there we go. The reason Evo 2020 was canceled,
and Nintendo pulled out of supporting the fighting game community. Full stop. That's a huge thing, because Nintendo was supporting a lot of these things. They were paying into some of the grand prizes and whatnot, but now it's like, you guys are fucked. So we're taking our ball and going home.
Is it irreparable damage?
I don't know if it's irreparable, because money is money, right? But it does create a chilling effect, because fewer people are going to be interested in entering these game tournaments and becoming part of the fighting game community or the professional esports community, because the toxicity was so appalling. How do you get over that? How do you get past that? The community is already associated with something so heinous. I don't think it's recovering anytime soon. And hell, COVID's not helping.
Right.
But the whole Evo argument that was part of what we were talking about, so we don't have to cover that specificity. But what's going to come out of this? I don't know, man. But it won't be fun to watch because there won't be anything to watch.
All right. Well, and lastly, Far Cry 6, how games handle tough political and social questions. This article comes from Kotaku.com. Mr. Roz.
So, Far Cry 6, I don't know if you guys have played the Far Cry games. They're good, dumb fun. They always have like these underlying stories that are like a lot more serious than the gameplay or the superficial story lets on. And this newest one is supposed to be taking place on a Caribbean island during a revolution where they're fighting for, the freedom from a hyper-capitalistic society pushing towards more of a communist one. Garbanzo would have loved to be part of this conversation because you're essentially playing the Cuban Revolution. But the question is, at what point do video games, need to start tackling these heavy topics in either a more adult manner where, they present the facts and they show not so much teaching moments, but respect the material? Or are we just going to keep on moving forward with games just, taking these, political, genocides and, mass amounts of death and just making them part of the enjoyment of other people? Like, is there any responsibility within these developers to tell stories that are responsible or to help teach, larger lessons?
I mean, I think I can speak for Flex. He'd say that he doesn't want any of this in his video games when it comes to escapist fun.
It's always been there, though. Not even just in video games. I think I mentioned it episodes ago. Comic books.
Right.
Comic books are a staple of talking about political and social questions that are happening in that current era of that comic book. Superman, Captain America, Spider-Man, every single political and social issue that's gone out during the time of those span of those comic books relate to that. Now we've seen that in video games.
Yeah, well, all media is influenced by the culture of the time and the decade or whatever. So, yeah.
But you have a lot of fans saying, "Oh, video games shouldn't tackle these things." I don't want to be faced with reality in my games. That's some people's argument.
And I kind of agree with that argument. I think Flex also, he said the same thing. He wants escapist fun. You don't want to be reminded of the world you're in when you're playing a video game. It's escapist fun. I kind of agree with that because if 100%. The world, I'll turn on the news. But if I want to play a game, I want to play a game, and I don't want to be taught a message while I'm playing the game necessarily.
I agree.
I want to have fun. So
this is what everybody has to make a statement and make something about it. You're going to spend now. The games are going to start rising with the next gen. For the first couple of years, are you going to spend $70 to $75, let's just say, on a game, and it's going to remind you of what current reality is? Isn't video games supposed to break reality?
I agree.
That's what they're meant to be. I mean, there's a book by a psychologist, I forgot her name. It's called Breaking Reality by video games, and it goes into depth about how they're meant to break reality and how they're supposed to be a way of escaping and being able to come back to reality at the same time. And if you're witnessing that,
very interactive daydreaming,
pretty much. And if you're witnessing that toxicity of those video games and relating them to reality, it's going to ruin the fun of them. I mean, at one point, I'm not going to play anymore if that's what's going to happen. I'm not going to invest money on these studios if that's what I'm going to go back and play the indie games where they just care about games, and that's where it is right now. I mean, these AAA parties and are catering to what's going on, and some of these indie developers are creating great content and they're sticking to pen and paper fun games.
And it also dates the games, you know, when they were referred too much to the current, you know, societal culture or trends. You know, you lose that timelessness that most old games have because they are just a game. So I see that as well in that particular way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like I said many times before, like I use those sources of the media as an escape. You know, I can very easily turn on the TV and watch. By the way, at my job, CNN, Fox News, and HLN are on the whole shift. I don't want to come home and play Grand Theft Auto and hear about some bullshit. You know, so because that's pretty much what the point of entertainment is an escape of what's going on in your current world as it is relative to you, right? You know, I honestly, because I can't expect everybody to have this same opinion that we do, because it's all about relativity to that person. So whatever's relative to you, you know, I don't want to come home and play The Witcher and hear about, you know, Black Lives Matter, coronavirus. No, I want to see some gangster ass monster hunting shit. No, I mean that's super simplistic, but that's what it is. Like I don't, if I want to inform myself about, and I know like in our chats I always say, you know, I don't care to say, I'm not misinformed. I still watch the news. I just don't talk about it. I don't bring it up in my day-to-day life unless it's appropriate. And I don't want that to become my entertainment. I don't want to become my escape from what's going on in the world. Hello. You know, so if I'm using a media source as entertainment to escape, that's exactly what I want it to be. I don't want to jump into it and be reminded of something that I can clearly see that's happening around me.
Mr. Ross.
I get it.
No. Listen, my take on it is you know, I enjoy games as they are now. Mm-hmm. You know, and you know, like you just mentioned The Witcher, and you don't want to be, you know, faced with, you know, current events. And it's not so much current events, but even The Witcher touches on some serious social justice topics. Yeah.
Right, but I completely, just me, this is myself. I'm not saying this is everybody else, but I completely disassociate that with what's going on around me.
No,
I
that's
just
the
see
point.
it
Like,
as it is.
Is it, you know, is it enjoyable for games to mask heavier topics, you know, within their own game world? I think that's the best way to go about it.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't smack you in the face, but all right.
Like that movie Bright.
I knew you were gonna bring up Bright.
That was just not a good movie. Okay. Like that's everything else aside, that was just not good.
Fairy lives don't matter today. All right, we're gonna
Pork lives don't matter, dog.
No, they do. Vibes cure for your common day. The futility of cancel culture. Now, I'm not a religious man, but I thought this was fun for you to put there. Jesus, in John 8:7 says, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone." What I'm saying is, some would say there's a witch hunt going on right now of every and anybody who's ever done anything inappropriate or unprofessional or regrettable. And what I'm posing is, do we not want to live in a world where there's understanding, where there's forgiveness, where there's acceptance, as opposed to chasing you down, canceling you, and condemning you for something you did 5 minutes or 15 years ago? Is cancel culture going too far? You know, and that's what I want to pose to you guys, because I believe it has at some point. Discuss. Mr. Roz.
It's the price of social media, right?
Yes.
Has it gone too far? A lot of times, yeah. Oftentimes, no, not really. You know, some people have done some genuinely toxic shit in their history, in their lives, and you know, you don't get to say, "Oh, you know, I was joking in the past." No, it's, you know, if you're genuinely, you know, a piece of crap, you know, yeah, you should get called out on it. And if you get canceled, hey, look, that's the price of being a piece of shit. However, like you said, has it gone too far? Yeah, a lot of the times you see people, you know, going on witch hunts over minor comments that were said in the past or things taken out of context. Will this become a trend that moves forward into the future, into perpetuity? Man, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just
a fad, a phase.
You know, the hotness right now. However, you know, social media is never going to go away.
No.
And it's just going to become more integral and more integrated into our lives. you just like you people with children. Y'all folks
You
right here.
people with children.
What you need to do is
What do you
make
mean by
sure
you people, bro?
make sure you tell your kids, hey, watch what you fucking say.
Oh,
because
yeah,
you
absolutely.
don't know if in 10 years your really tasteless, genuinely disgusting rape joke is going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
Maybe be a better person and don't make jokes that are objectively hurtful to other people.
Right.
I agree.
So I agree.
That's my take.
I
do
do.
they go too far?
do.
Yeah. But sometimes, them's the breaks.
As a father of an 18-year-old, I've had to correct him on a lot of things that he's posted on his social media because I made sure I was very visual on everything that he posted on any forum that he did, because this day and age right now, everybody's susceptible to their feelings. So as someone as he is, bisexual, gay, whatever he chooses to be at this point in time, he cannot be a part of that whole cancel culture if he himself has not adapted to what he has chosen to be.
Right.
Especially if it's not fully out there with everybody else, it's not fully acceptable. And, I sit down with him all the time. Again, he's 18 years old. He just turned 18.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly. He's turned 18.
He's a man. How dare you?
13 days ago, and almost 2 weeks ago. And I've had to sit down with him this entire time and be like, listen, you need to watch what you say, how you do things, what you choose to portray yourself as, because this is not the time to do it. Everybody's paying attention. Everybody's at home. We're all dealing with the COVID pandemic right now. So everybody's literally watching what you're doing. And that's why I'm very happy that you guys accepted me to come onto this podcast, because I don't put myself out there very often. I don't voice my opinions. I don't say very much.
Really?
And I really don't. And I feel like it's part of the problem, because there's so many stories out there that need to be told and need to be said and need to be pulled out there for this country to start accepting the change. I mean, again, going back to the whole Black Lives Matter and everything that's going on at the moment, anti-maskers, everything that's going on right now, it's a liability of the country and we as a people. So everything that we put out there for ourselves and portray ourselves for ourselves, I'm sorry, I'm reading messages from all of my family that's watching right now. I love you guys. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, man, speak your piece. Yeah, man.
I'm trying to, and I lose my track. But this whole ordeal where just everybody loses their focus on where they want to be, because the news media, the gaming world, everything's it's one point. It's never interconnected. It's never put together. I'm getting harsh right now. I'm sorry.
You're getting stage fright now. You're getting stage fright. That's what it is. See what you did? They got into your head.
And nothing is put together. So, it's crazy how divided this country has become when you go all back to the basics, we all bleed the same, we all hurt the same, we all feel the same. Point blank, just go with it. Nothing else matters. Just be kind and just keep going forward. That's it.
Darflex, what are you doing? It's like, are you?
I'm trying to get comfortable, but it's really, really hard. My back is starting to hurt really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Any other comments on the futility of cancel culture?
I think you guys touched all the bases that I'll agree with.
That's what she said.
So you concur?
Yeah.
Juancho concur. I like it. Okay, I want to move on to to George Carlin. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. I want to play a minute of his stand-up routine, and then I just want to discuss it.
Rest in peace.
Before you do that, I'm from New York. George Carlin performed, and he's from New York. I love everything about George Carlin. It is a very big message for everybody.
You think you're the only father on the Geek Bros podcast that's from New York?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as a New Yorker.
I'm a New Yorker.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
As a New Yorker, everything about George Carlin I love, and when you guys put it on there, I love it. But go ahead.
Hey, how do you know if somebody's a New Yorker? You know how you can always tell?
Uh-oh.
Because they'll fucking tell you within 10 seconds.
I dovetailed. Listen, Roz, you didn't know I was a New Yorker until now, so shut up.
I did.
Well, you're Jamaican, so yeah.
Allegedly Jamaican.
Or allegedly black. You could be a white Jamaican.
I like your background, Vibe.
Whose background?
His background.
All right. Oh yeah, you like it, right? I haven't changed it. There we go.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. You can't hear it?
I love it.
You can't hear it?
I love it.
Highly.
You know what you can't. You heard the last one. You heard the last one.
Peak humor.
What? I'm lost. Did you guys hear? You guys can't hear?
No, we cannot hear it. It sounds like screeching on two knives and a fork
Really?
on a plate. Yeah.
Oh, but it worked. The last one worked. Still? Now? Still?
Nope. It sounds like shit.
It sounds like shit? All right.
Onward?
Yep.
Oh, well, I give up. Well, anyway, what he said basically is that let me stop sharing my screen. Who is anybody actually heard this particular stand-up when he was talking about the fat cats? They don't care about us. It's all about the money. It's all about control. It's about power and wealth and everything. Have we all heard this? I mean, before?
I rewatched it last night. Yeah, I rewatched it last night.
Okay. So basically, that's what I want to discuss. How much of it? I mean, I think that's real talk. That's the realest talk, that you can ever get. I absolutely believe that. I believe that everything that exists, that happens, in the mainstream, is an attempt to gain power and control over the masses, over the quote unquote sheeple or whatever you want to say, and that we have no idea who's really in charge, and it's definitely not the government. It's definitely not the president, and that technically, like, democracy is an illusion. It's an illusion of choice, and that whatever the agenda is will continue no matter who's in power, no matter because there are others that are really in control, and they don't give two shits about you or the common man. We are just cattle, and we are just there to to be smart enough to do the task that we are trained to do. But the worst thing, of course, for them is to have an informed, educated populace, because then they'll open up their eyes to what's really going on. So let's discuss.
I mean, I just want to preface this by saying what you're bringing up here is quite a massive door you're opening, because this is instantly going to turn into a political conversation. Do you want to go down that road?
I did not.
Because there's no way to have this conversation and not make it political. Full stop. Guaranteed.
I'm not.
I truly did not.
I'm just letting you guys know. Like, for sure. This topic
I'll pass on this topic, Vibe.
Yeah,
I will pass on this topic as well.
Political topic. I personally don't want to get into it. I love politics talks.
Every topic we have has been political in some
I'm just
form.
saying.
Why is mine being tossed out? Every topic we had
No, because it is such a purely, like, it's a distilled political conversation is what I'm saying. There's no way to approach it without saying, oh, hey, this side does that thing in this way that is objectively worse than that side that does that thing. And like I said, that's just going to trigger a long political argument.
Again,
and I have
basically going back to the video that I posted. Again, I don't know if any of you guys watched it. I know JJ did.
Right.
It to me, it has nothing to do with being politicized to a point. As far as everything that goes on, George Carlin hit a lot of things on the head. Again, when you were in school, again, I'm older, and Raj, you keep calling us out on that.
Yeah.
But
so am I, baby. Look at all this gray. Look at that.
It's friggin' Flex who likes to friggin'.
Hey, look at my bald. I lost all my hair.
Hey, listen, I got 3 kids. I know what's going on. But back in when we were in school.
His back was so soft.
back when we were in school, we weren't just taught the two-party system. There were many different parties, many different voices that would go for presidency. Right now, the only two parties that are focused on is the Republican and Democratic Party. And again, not making this political, just putting the facts out there. No one nowadays knows that there's multiple parties to vote for. And with the Electoral College screwing everything up for everybody, the notion for putting the vote out there and making everybody vote, it's not so much on the presidential level. It's more or less on the local level because
no one votes down ticket.
Right. And that's the big issue. Everybody's voting for presidents. That's the only thing they're voting for. No one's voting for your congressmen, your senators, your mayors, your state representatives. No one's doing any of that because they're ignoring it. They don't know and justify what's going on. And that's where it starts. They don't know that there's more than two parties to vote for our presidential election. But we have to start within our localized civilization.
Anyway, yeah, I called
again,
it, didn't I?
Yeah. We're majority in Broward County. Our county itself, they're playing on the fence right now. We don't want to close like Miami, but we're not afraid to do so if necessary.
I skipped Broward. I went up north.
But that's basically where we're at right now. We're on the fence. You know, Miami completely shut down, and now allegedly, and in our county, allegedly, we're feeling the momentum of that. Everybody's coming up again. I work for a casino. In our industry, you know, the Indian reservations, they don't hold the same value, the same power as our state casinos do. We have to abide whatever the state tells us to. So whatever the Indian reservations want to do, they choose to do, they can get away with doing. We have to do whatever the state tells us to. So if Miami-Dade County shuts down, every casino in Miami-Dade that's state controlled is closed. In Broward, that's not the same procedure. We're in a different county. So everybody in Miami who doesn't want to drive all the way down to Miccosukee, Indian reservation, they will come over to everybody else. And that's where it goes. And everybody's freaking out because everybody's like, oh my God, like, you know, all of the potential, you know, exposures that we're dealing with, it's too much. And, you know, the fear factor of the mask wearing and the COVID-19, it's all been politicized. And again, in my video, I state that it's not politicized, it just needs to be science. Protect your fellow man and keep it moving. That's it. I want to protect my children. I want to protect your family and children. That's where it goes. That's as far as it goes. Nothing else needs to be politicized. Let's stop politicizing every single thing. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I wish you guys, I want to make it very clear that these gentlemen do get the outlines long before, well, not long before, but before these podcasts. I wish you guys told me you wanted to cut that out. I would have replaced it with something else. But I do recommend you guys go on Google, Google or YouTube, and type in George Carlin. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. Listen to it. It's stand up, but it is.
No,
in my opinion, it's the realest. Yeah, it's the realest.
Really, I'm with you. Listen, in my defense, I am more than happy to engage in
because
political conversation.
Showing Darflex bowed out. It's okay. We're gonna bow, but I implore you guys who are watching us either live or watching us on YouTube or listening to us. George Carlin. Carlin. It's a big club. And listen to it. It's 14 minutes, but it's as eye opening as you can, and it's but in a humorous way, but very, very in your face. So we're gonna move on to Juancho's picks, a custom built PC.
Yeah, I got I joined the PC world.
Okay, you got a little more enthusiasm, a little more. Yeah, guys.
Well, hold on.
What's going on?
So first, you see my co-monkeys. I just want to say I have done today for a purpose because I felt that Dave and Jerry's a great representation of me and Vibe. He's mostly Dave, and I'm Jerry.
since I'm the
I'm gonna rewatch the show
responsible-
just to do that, just to see that.
I'm the responsible and tidy one, and he's always been the crazy one and just wants to have fun.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
that's why I have Code Monkeys on there. No, but I built a
I'm
PC
rewatching that show tonight.
because I am done with buying consoles and investing money on consoles that are not going to give me the performance that I deserve as a gamer.
Okay.
Gay.
So this is a custom built PC and consoles no more. Are you combining the two?
Yes, I'm going to combine those two.
Okay, go for it.
So the custom built PC came out because I'm like, all right. I was looking at the specs for the Xbox One because that's the Xbox Series X because that's the one that is more appealing to me. And then I was looking at the graphics. I can get a little bit more better graphics on a PC. CPU wise, you won't be able to because computers don't have that nice big Navi that the consoles have, but will next year. So that's where I come with. At what point are companies going to continue to build consoles? I know that I had actually an argument on Facebook actually 2 days ago when I finished building it because I was posting about Microsoft, and a Sony fanboy just completely trashed my post. I'm like, why can't we just all play games? And one of the people who were defending my post says, these consoles are being built because not everybody can afford to build a PC. To build a PC, you're at least gonna have to put $1,000 if you want a decent one. A console costs half the price of that.
Well, people are buying $1,000 phones though.
Yeah,
but those
they have a payment plan with their
those
plan,
aren't paid
so,
all at the same time.
Yeah, but these are parts that you have to play in one. I'll give you for an example. One of the parts that I paid for on retail without the discount is about $600.
Your GPU.
Yep. And I got it for half the price of that.
And what did you get?
I got a 2070S.
And well, that's an excellent GPU. The price to performance doesn't equal a console.
True. That's what
I have the same. Just so I have a custom built PC. I'm with you 100%. I play PC games. It's my first love. But like you were asking, how long are they going to keep making consoles? Basically.
Yeah. At what point are the consoles going to be relevant? Because
Sony will never stop. Because the majority of Sony Corporation's income actually comes from the PlayStation branch, which blows your mind. Yeah. Nintendo, why would they ever stop?
I love Nintendo.
I'm saying, why would they ever stop? They print money with the Switch.
I love my Switch.
Every now and then they make a mistake, like with the Wii U, but the Wii was, another money printer.
Mm-hmm.
The 3DS was a money printer.
I remember episode 3 when I actually said that the Nintendo should just give up. Remember, Vibe? I think
yes.
episode 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I said Nintendo should just give up. It's done. They're done. Yeah. I'm over with it. And then 3 months later, Nintendo. Nintendo.
It's
You're
true.
Back. But like Raz was saying, it's true. But what I mean by it is like, well, you pay $600 for a console that fine. You're paying for the name, or are you going to pay for performance? My computer right now is basically beating out both of the current generation consoles.
Of course, but the current generation consoles were already underperforming on launch in 2013.
True.
They were very much behind the curve. They had bad CPUs and low amounts of RAM and bad GPUs because they're usually system on a chips. The current consoles that are coming out are far and away more powerful than a computer you can build now with very limited caveats. You need like a Titan X GPU from the current release, or the new 3 series, the 3000 series NVIDIA chips that are coming out later in this year. But to address directly what you were saying, is that ever going to stop? No, because if I pay, for the sake of argument, and again, I have a PC that I paid too many $1,000s for. If I pay $500 in November for an Xbox One X, Series X, or a PlayStation 5, that will play whatever games come out for the next 5 to 8 years, whatever the lifespan of that console is, without a problem. Full stop. And it'll play it at 4K with the new consoles. It'll play it at 60 frames per second if they want to trade that off one way or the other, or 4K 60. We don't know just how the performance is going to come out. But it will just work. If I buy an equivalent piece of PC hardware that will perform at that same level, I'm going to be spending $1,500, $2,000 to get the same thing, to get a box that plays video games at a decent resolution. So the argument can be made, hey, listen, I use the computer for more things than just playing video games. Yes. However, if I'm going to buy a box just to play video games, I don't see a reason why a person wouldn't buy a Series X or a PlayStation 5 or a Switch, because you're going to spend a fraction of the money and get the same thing, which is this thing plays video games and they look pretty.
True. That's true. You have no problem.
I'm not gonna lie.
I have no dog in this race.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Nintendo Direct. Final topic.
Yeah. Nintendo Direct. I was kind of sad, even though the people were saying, "Oh, they have made announcements." Some of the games that they were on there, I was expecting a lot more cooler stuff to show. They did show like 3 nice things, and the rest were already the games that they had mentioned and they were advertised. Like, who cares about WWE Playground?
I care. I love that.
But then why did they have to? You don't have to have. They can have it. The last game though that I do want to mention that was really nice and hyped for next year, Shin Megami Tensei 5 was mentioned, and they're currently going to have a worldwide release across the board on 2021. So I'm excited about the Shin Megami Tensei series getting a nice new game for next year, and they're also remaking an old one. So we're still doing the remakes and reboots of games currently. So
end of the generation, they got to pump them out while they can.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're rebooting Fable. I mean, I don't care. I'm happy about it.
Oh yeah.
Even though the line.
Oh man, can we talk about the show?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we can go ahead. I was about to mention it because I don't have much. I'm excited. I'm really excited for what Microsoft is doing. Like, even though they didn't mention all their studios, Microsoft is just throwing dollar bills across the floor like we were strippers.
There was a lot. There is a lot. I don't know if you guys follow the social media of, I hate the console warrior drama, dude. I really cannot stand that. So there's been a lot of actual negative feedback on the Xbox show, like specifically that demo that they had for Halo, which was an early build and it didn't have like ray tracing baked into it yet, and it didn't look as good as it supposedly will.
It felt like I was looking at the original Halo. The way
absolutely, it felt like what my memory of the original game was.
Yep, and it looks open world, which I was really like.
And it is, which
excited.
Great. I hope that's going to be good. But that was essentially the only game that they showed consistent gameplay in. The rest of the show was just a bunch of trailers with either CGI or non-game related, cinematics. And I don't know. I was a little let down. I love consoles. I have an Xbox. I have a PlayStation. I have a Switch. But I was expecting something a little more bombastic from their show. I was expecting them to show more, from the actual games that are currently in development. And, in their defense, a lot of these game studios are basically playing catch up now because, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, basically built these studios from the ground up within the last 3 years. And it takes longer than 2 and 3 years to build games.
Didn't they mention these studios like last year though? So they
like 2 years ago now.
Less than a year. You need a lot more time.
So, it was a little bit of a letdown on that front. However, I'm super excited about almost all those games. I can't wait for Fable. I can't wait for Halo. I can't wait for State of Decay 3 even.
Oh, State of Decay looks so good. Oh my god.
What else? What was the other big thing? Huh?
Arrow, the one with the
Aeronauts?
No, not Aeronauts. Aeronauts is completely psychic.
I love Psychonauts. I cannot wait for Psychonauts. Avowed, I'm very excited for because I love Obsidian games. Everything they make, I adore. And it's going to take place in the Pillars of Eternity universe, which was a great pair of games. So they got a lot of good stuff coming. So hopefully by November we get some, more feedback.
All right. Well, that's it for Keep With The Geek Bros, the 100th episode, and then there were 8 or 9, I don't remember. Juancho, if you do the honors for our outro.
All right, follow us on Instagram at Geek Bros with a 0, Twitter with Geek Bros with a 0, email us at geekbros@yahoo.com, facebook.com/Geek Bros with a 0, and you can listen to us in the first place at
First.com.
And watch us later on when Vibe decides to put up the video at youtube.com/5rep Studios. And thanks to all the returning guests that I did not know they were guests. I haven't seen y'all since forever. So yeah, welcome, and nice seeing new faces. Pretty cool. And yeah.
Let's get to the shameless promotions. Round Juancho, you can do the honors first. Shameless promotion of your social medias, whatever. You plug your own stuff. No, you plug your own stuff.
Yeah, Juancho on Grindr.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Juancho.
Love it.
Flex.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Darth Flex.
Yeah. Mr. Ross.
Ray Raziel on Twitter and Raziel Ayala on Facebook.
All right. Man, you want to share some sweet social media with the people?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Man. It's pretty much the easiest way you can find me.
All right. Of course, I'm Vibe Studios, VIBEREVSTUDIOS. That's Instagram, Twitter.com, Facebook, YouTube, everything you're going to see there. So thank you for tuning in to Keepin' the Geek Bros podcast, the 100th episode live. And remember, geeking out still sounds this good.
Keeping up with the Geek Bros.